Spoon in your boy, right at the south bend. Charges on the beat.
On the spoon to get your information. To the spoon to be part of our discussion. Spoon, spoon, spoon television. Spoon, spoon, spoon radio station.
Spoon gonna tell you what is happening in Liberia. Spoon gonna tell you what is happening in Monrovia. Spoon gonna tell you what is happening in Africa. Just to spoon you will know. If the children crying for starvation, just to spoon. You want to get a news update, my brother, to spoon. You want to know what is happening, Moravia, to spoon. Politicians want to make their decision, just to spoon. You want to know what happening in the ministry, to spoon. Yeah, to spoon. To spoon. You from Fonjama, Maryland, to spoon. To spoon. If you eat keep my graduate, my brother, to spoon. You got a spoon TV, you got a spoon radio, to spoon. To spoon. What? Yeah, Rastafari. Kilibamba, 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 kilibamba. What I want? This one you back today.
Spoon TV. Spoon.
This one you back today. Spoon TV. Spoon. Ba-da-ba-de-ba-de-ba. Skiddy-dee-dee-dee-da-ba-do.
Spoon TV. Spoon Entertainment.
Kua. Bese kua, kujileo. Kua, kujileo.
On the spoon to get
Yes,
your information.
Well,
On the spoon to be
From the CEO standing with the spoon in your boy, right at the south bend. Charges on the beat.
on the spoon to get your information. To the spoon to be part of our discussion. Spoon, spoon television. Spoon radio station.
Spoon gonna tell you what is happening in Liberia. Spoon gonna tell you what is happening in Monrovia. Spoon gonna tell you what is happening in Africa. Just to spoon you will know. If the children crying for starvation, just to spoon. You want to get a news update, my brother, to spoon. You want to know what is happening, Moravia, to spoon. Politicians want to make their decision, just to spoon. You want to know what happening in the ministry, to spoon. To spoon. To spoon. You from Fonjama, Maryland, to spoon.
Okay, folks, while I wait to welcome you tonight
If you eat keep
to Liberia's most listened to, most followed talk show on radio and online, the Spoon Talk. Here tonight, live on Spoon 107.5 FM, Fabric 101.1 FM, Super 95.5 FM. And of course, we live at www.spoonfmradio.com. On YouTube, we're there at Spoon Talk Live. I want to say welcome to all of you across the world who have joined us tonight. My name is Nelson Colette. And tonight, Dr. Richardson has joined us, and I see James is also here. Good evening, Dr. Richardson, and good evening to James.
Nelson and James, hello, how you guys are doing?
Yeah, good evening, Dr. Richardson and Nelson, but I think I'm getting a feedback.
I think it's all up now.
Yeah, okay. Dr. Richardson, please speak this. Yeah.
Yeah, it's good to be here today. How is it going with you guys?
We're good, God keeping us alive. We're good. Everything is okay. The
Awesome,
sun is not
awesome.
coming again.
That's good. So we good to go. I want to welcome all of you that are joining us for this episode of the most talked about uh, talk show in Liberia and outside of Liberia. This is your place to be, Liberians, the place to be to listen to different views of what is happening in the country. We again take in the information, give us our perspective, give us recommendations for you to be able to make informed decisions about what is happening in our country. Again, Liberia, this is the idea behind this station was for you. It was developed for you. So I want to carry on right now. We have a series of things that happen in the country that we're going to discuss. We're going to bring you the trending news. Nelson's going to do that for you. And then when the panelists roll in, we are also going to dissect some of the trending news and expand on it. So again, I'm going to circle back to you, Nelson, and then good day for you guys to tell us what is happening in the country.
Okay, thank you very much, Dr. Richardson. And so there are lots of things happening in the country right now. A couple of days ago, that was on the 3rd of March, the NEC released the listing of the different centers where people will be going to vote. And so since that release came up, the Liberians have been, visiting and trying to know where exactly they'll be going to vote. But there is one person who was raising some concern about that. He goes by the name Emmanuel Robinson. He contested in the District 12 before about the removal of a Muslim school there around the Keseli Boulevard. He said that that place was used several times, and so removing it at the time when the population has increased is something that is not too good. Well, he has been on the news for that. The People's Action Network, an advocacy group headed by a former lawmaker, um, Mr. Rufus Nouvel, has been calling for a law that will criminalize persistent non-child support, or let's say persistent non-support, toward especially concerning men who have children all around the place, and they don't really do much towards uh, meeting up with their responsibility for the well-being of those kids. So he wants a law that would criminalize such act, and he attributed that persistent non-support to the influx of Zogos or disadvantaged youth that we have in the country. He says, well, he sees that's one of the reasons why we have a lot of the young people in the streets on drugs, because most fathers are abandoning their responsibilities to bring those children up good. And
Nelson, wait a minute. You know how I bet you can probably guess how I feel about that, right?
yeah.
Yeah, I like that approach. What's his name again? Nouvel?
Rufus Nouvel.
Rufus Nouvel. Okay. So he is asking men to be responsible for the babies that they produce into this world.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. All right. That's somewhere to start.
So,
I
yeah.
just want to get some clarity on what does he mean by criminalize them. In other parts of the world, like you are asked to pay child support. And
Mhm.
if the child support accrued and keeps on accruing to a certain amount, then the government will step in and do and take certain privileges away from you. For example, your passport, when you go to renew your passport, you'll be asked to pay up with your child support, and sometimes people get locked up for not paying their child support. So I just wanted to know, what does it mean for the government to criminalize men who are not taking care of the babies? So that's something we can explore.
Yeah. So, what he's calling for is for the legislature, the government to come up with a law that will
Mhm,
that will make this a criminal act, because as it stands, uh, I have seen a lot of cases of such where men who have their kids and are not living up to this responsibility will be taken to the police station, and then I think that there's, in fact, not I think, but there's a gender unit there, and most times they will have those men to sign an agreement that every at the end of every month they will carry a certain percentage of their salary and so forth.
mhm,
But
mhm,
as it stands, we don't really have, you know, a strong law on that that will sort of have those people that will actually even prescribe punishments or some sort of, you know, stuff like that for them. We don't have that. So yeah, that's what he's calling for, and he
mhm.
thinks that will help to reduce the number of disadvantaged youths in the streets.
Okay, that's interesting. Thanks for sharing that. And speaking of the NEC, I want to say this before I forget about it and before we go on. Uh,
Mhm.
there are four women that I work with and also travel with Liberia to do civics education. Cindy Martinquay, Amanda Wright, and Ed Lewis, and myself. We have filed a complaint with NEC to allow Liberians in the diaspora to vote, especially in light of the dual citizenship law.
Mm.
And because it's very costly to keep on traveling back and forth. Right now, I'm about to travel back to Liberia to register to vote. Then I have to come back in October. So we're asking NEC to see if we can just go ahead and vote in at our respective embassies here or consulate office. And NEC today denied our complaint. Um, and so now because we just asked them if they said that there's no law yet to say that we can vote at the consulate office or the embassy. The legislators have to prescribe a law, put that into
Mhm.
law before that can happen. So we are still meeting with our lawyers to explore what to do next. So that's something that I just wanted Liberians to know. I need all Liberians to be alert and join us, especially those who are interested in voting in the diaspora, no matter where you are in the United States, England, India, wherever you are, because it's very costly to continue to go back home to exercise our democratic rights. So I just wanted to add that I knew you had said something about NEC. So I just said that.
Yeah, and interestingly, we had an interview. It was on Monday with the head of communications from NEC, and he says that with the biometric they're coming up with, it enables them to even import to export the data. Like you collect the data here, and wherever you collect the data, you can export it to, you know, the central point, and so which makes it a good one.
Yes.
And yeah, another thing that happened today is that Senator Darius Dillon of Montserrat County uh, walked out of a, you know, a discussion that was held today with head of different security agencies in the country, um, when this issue about Councillor Scott broke out. Even before that, there has been discussions about security issues in the country, and so heads of different security, um, operatives in the country were uh, made to appear today at the Senate. So you have the Liberia Drugs Enforcement Agency, the Liberia Immigration Service, the LIS, the police, and those different heads of this the different security operatives in the country.
Mhm,
And so at a point, then there was a motion from the pro tempore Abra chief for the discussion to be taken into executive or secret session. Well, it was seconded, so the motion went into secret session. So, but because of that, Senator Dillon became very furious, and he worked out, terming all of what was being done there as, in his word, rubbish. Something that uh, they said they would not do. Why should they go back to it? So he walked out of that
So,
session today.
Nelson, do you know, did he walked out because they asked for a secret session? Is that, do you know? Is that what upset him?
Yeah, yeah, because according to him,
Mm-hmm.
um the issue that has to do with security is something that is in the public glare now, especially the key issue on ground, the one at hand with respect to the councilor Musu's card situation. This is
Mm-hmm.
something that, even according to Senator Dillon, even the head of different security operatives in the country, those people have been on the radio in different areas talking about different security issues in the country. So for him, he said that he sees no reason why this thing should be discussed behind closed door, when the Liberian people should, in fact, have this information, uh, at their disposal. So because of that, he walked out. And another thing he stated was that they decided at some point that they will not take such an issue to executive or secret session and all of those things. So he saw that as something that went contrary to the initial discussion they had with respect to this issue.
Mm-hmm. Okay, good. Thank you.
Yeah.
All right, James, good. Okay, I'm sorry. I thought you were done. Go ahead, Nelson.
And then finally, from my end, I know James has some other issues, but there was a situation today with um, a young man by the name of Aloysius Howe. He happens to be a special assistant to the finance minister. So he talked to a social media handle today to complain of some attacks against terrorism on him uh, on the campus of the University of Liberia, when he had gone there to attend to some other issues. And so there has been mixed reactions on that as well today, and it has been depending on the side of the table, one sit, and condemn or commend, whichever. Yeah.
Okay. Well, yeah, maybe we'll play that tape if time permits. But maybe we'll be able to talk about it. Good day. You like to add any trending issues going on in the country?
Yeah, today Representative Yeke Koluba was thrown out of session. Uh, according to Yeke, according to Representative Koluba, he wrote, and I have the communication, he wrote the plenary complaining the Liberian National Police Inspector General. Recently, the Inspector General appeared before the Liberian Senate, where he said they took the weapon that the Monrovia City Police Director had. He said they took the weapon from him. But surprising to Liberia, we saw him appearing before the or appearing at the Liberian National Police headquarters with weapons. So Yeke wrote the plenary today saying that the Inspector General should be invited to come and explain why and why he lied to the people, but his letter was not accepted. It was not. I got it from my end.
No, you good. I'm getting you.
Yeah, it was not placed on the agenda, so that prompted Yeke to get angry in session, and it resulted to the speaker asking for him to be escorted out. And at the end of the day, he was thrown out of section today. So he did not conclude the session. He was thrown out. He said it on the show here that he was going to write, and he did that writing, but it was not honored today. So he got angry, and you know when Yeke is angry, he
So James, I,
chocolate.
I wonder, is there a procedure for what communication that the House of Representatives accepts and do not accept? I just wonder, Are there certain times they accept communications, or is there a process that one has to go through to put information on the docket?
Yeah, the presiding officer is the final decision maker about what's going to get on the agenda.
Oh wow.
So it's like maybe 2 to 3 days before session, you will have to submit. You have to turn in whatever you have. Sometimes I don't know more about the House of Representatives, but at the Liberian Senate, you will have to submit your concern to the presiding officer at least a day or two before regular session days,
Okay.
and the presiding officer along with the pretend that is you will submit it to the secretary in consultation with the pretend the pretend rather, or whoever will be presiding for that session that will be coming. Yeah, and I'm too sure that's how it is like at the House of Representatives. You cannot just take something and chunk it there and put it there. At least you will send it in a day or two before session day. But they will decide because they have so many things that should appear on the agenda. So the presiding officer will decide what's going to get on the agenda for that day. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, again, like what Nelson just talked about, what we saw today on the university campus, I think it should not be among young people, most especially when we are just few months away from October 10, and not just October 10 because we talk about this. The last time we saw similar thing happening to young people, it was in 2022, July 26th, when students of the Unification Party or members of the Unification Party who are students
Student
of the
unification
University of Liberia, when they were attacked by quote unquote members of the CDC under the banner uh, a CDC Council of Patriots when they attacked them at the United States Embassy near Monrovia, where Christopher Sululu got dragged and naked before the American embassy. Everyone talked about it. The media discussed it, and up to present, some people are still talking about it in our country. But today we saw the student unification doing what they preach against when Aloysius to I'm sorry, Aloysius
Wow.
Howe. Yeah, when he
Yeah.
went on the main campus of the University of Liberia today, I watched a little clip, about 14 seconds. I watched it where he tried getting out of his vehicle, and I saw this guy, but I could not picture the person's face because they had group of guys before him
Mhm.
slapping his hair, and he got by in his vehicle. And later on, I saw an image from his vehicle where he complained that it was stoned by the Student Unification Party members, and I saw serious mark on it. I also saw a picture of him in the hospital, uh, in a hospital where he said he went for treatment. So I think what the Student Unification Party or those members of the Student Unification Party, what they did today, I think they have to work on it. They should not repeat it because everyone went against those people who did it to them yesterday. Yeah. And the last one,
Mhm.
the last one, uh, why are you looking at my face like
Now the
that?
way you saying last, you got something on the you don't mean
You got
you
any breaking news on ANC?
I hear
The
that
last
when you start
one.
getting different thing. Just say Mr. Cummings was in, I think that district number 4 today, right?
No, the last one. Yesterday, Mr. Cummings went in district number 9, my own Sessa district, district number 9, Maserati County,
Mm-hmm.
in Fiamma,
Mm-hmm.
specifically Fiamma Market.
Mm-hmm.
He was welcomed in a very beautiful way, market women came out to welcome Cummings. They started singing the ritual, the political ritual. Amanda, away to Amanda, Amanda, Mr. Kumi, oh, say Amanda, CDC, oh. Right before Cummings, instead of them saying CPP, there's this way they can say it, man. Just like Amanda, I'm just forgetting the right way she said it, but I have the clip ready. If you guys
Okay,
are ready, I can play
you're
it.
not good. We have a lot of clips on the docket today. I saw that you put it on your page, but you know what? That is the beauty of
You
democracy.
saw it?
You put on your page, James. That's something that you like to do. You know, you everything else. So let me just
Okay, let me say it. They say,
And if when he posted,
Alexander
he
Cummings,
said battleground gone wrong.
I'm
yes,
coming.
I saw that thing.
Alexander Cummings, CDC,
You know, you know,
Instead
this
of them saying CPP, they say CDC,
you know, and it's funny. This is the beauty of
It
democracy.
was funny and serious.
Yeah, it was funny and serious. It was funny, you know, because we have a very serious candidate that can change the direction of our country, that everybody need to think about and embrace. But then that's a serious part. The funny part is there are some people in our country who, you know, continue to like what they have now. And so that's the beauty of democracy. Democracy has been tolerant, open, and we will continue to speak to those people who may have a different view than what the CPP has to offer. So again, I know I just saw it and it, you know, it was like, okay, so
and you know, Cummings was happy, right? And these things will happen when you go somewhere that like, jingle the flip, you know, you'll be like, yes, I have meeting my supporters. So Mr. Alexander Cummings was standing up very, you know, he was happy to welcome his people. And this woman was right before Cummings. Alexander Cummings, our president to be Cummings, Then the last one, I said, CDC,
the interesting thing about it, so the interesting thing about it is that you know, some people in the CDC are conflicted. You know, they're learning what's good for the country and what's good for them, and so they are able to attend CPP events, and you know, and we tolerate them, we embrace them. There's, you know, no hard feelings. We're still educating. But again, the best thing about this is Mr. Cummings is the hardest working politician. He's the one that is out there. So I like that. That's the serious
So
part.
Cummings out?
That's the only person that's who else you see, who else you reporting them on.
Oh, sorry.
So anyway, let me just welcome all our parent people because James did not take all my time. Yeah, it's 3:59.
Jeff or phone, could we just play that video
No, we
at
don't
least
need
for
to
our
see.
followers to last week?
No. I need to welcome my people, James. You can play. We welcome like people. The like people took out that
Like
time.
just 13 seconds. Even the library people will be
30
willing.
seconds are too much time. It's taking out of my time. What is the value of it? This is too funny. You funny, oh.
At least just start the show with small laughter now, so
No,
our people can laugh small.
Find other laughter. Find laughter on other things.
That means that Richardson is now holding news.
I'm not holding no news. Other news here. I'm not into it. So let me let you the like people the Liberian people completely right now. Let me welcome all of our Liberian people here today.
Like
It is because of you that we are here. We really love you. We love you coming here. Put in your comments anything you want to say about James Goode and about the videotape you saw. You go on the James Goode page. He's very good at putting things on his page. You can have a conversation with him on his page. But
everybody say play it. Barbara, I say play it.
I seen that one. Yeah, I seen Victoria Blamo Cooper. is here. She's talking something completely different. Victoria, welcome. You are a woman. Based on your name, I love to see women engaged in politics and what is happening in Liberia. Thank you very much for being here. Tipos PK Dempster is here. He said that's not national issues.
Oh,
Jimmy Eastman is here. He's coming, my Fiamma boy. Abraham Gowi is here. Thank you for being here. Um, Pamu, I can't get your name, but he's interested in playing the tape. Sis Elizabeth Bowen is also here. Orita Carter says play, we want to see it. Political people pass away, he's here. He's from Robertsport City. Pass away. Thank you for being here. Thank you for being from Robertsport City. Edison Talib Bella, he's here. He says also Joko. He called us Joko Eko. My Liberian people, here we go again. Yawun Batu is here. Thank you for being here. I'm open to expression of ideas, so it doesn't matter what you say or what you call us. We're here. We're here.
Manager Akami, the CEO, CEO Titi Kana is in the back, and I see her trying to play.
Okay, want to see or room, all right. I mean, that's okay.
She's in the back. She tells me she's in the back.
The CEO not the CEO not in no back end. Myself in the back end.
I tell you, from the deal, I can't get access to the back because she.
The CEO in the back. She said, "I'm gonna play."
Nelson, thank you. I'm from the deal on to
I'm looking here.
This Mrs. Kanye will give me. You say you're taking my time away from Liberian people. Welcome in here.
Go ahead.
And panelists are waiting for you to roll in here. Philip Bala is here. Thank you for being here. Bobby Yango is also here. He said we're not complaining. We won't see the Beata Salif is here. She says good evening, my spoon family. I said D Kamu is saying that we should play it.
The CEO said when I play, she will recommend my suspension from the show.
Let me just see what Mrs. Canis, what's this saying here?
The only person backstage here that on the Refagon.
She said I should play. If I can play, I will get suspended for 1 week. What? I think Gabby will laugh.
She laughing. She just put a thing in the text. She replaced. She just laughed. She said, "James." She calling your name, James. We have fun here at Spoon. We have to. There's so much stuff going on in our country, so it's good to laugh sometimes. Gifty Yene is here. Gifty is watching from.
It's good to laugh. Let's laugh now.
Oh, yes, we are. Let me tell. Clarence Benson says, "Don't play it, Dr. Richardson." Victoria G. Thompson says, "Why you keep laughing?" Wilhelmina Smith Dix is from La Pasi. Thank you for being here, Wilhelmina. Daniel Kenima is here. Ma Hawasan is here from Fargo, North Dakota. Thank you for being here. Archie Avila Torp is here. UJJ, where I get your information. I told you where I can find the video. So yeah, please go there. Peter Wilson is also here. Peter, thank you for your comments, despite what it says. Nanan D. Davis is here from Rehab Community. Thank you for being here, Nanan Davis. Eleanor Davis is here. Esther Naya Gao is here. Thank you for watching, Esther. James Falla is also here. Attorney Bay is here watching from Paris. Thank you for watching. Philippia JG is also here. Danette Zara Viwar is here. Quinette S. Bima is here watching from Jersey. Darlington Jones is watching. He wants you to play the video. Darlington, just go on James' page. It's easy right there. Sarah Marque is here from Durham, North Carolina. Sia Tangba is here. She said, Ona James, good day. Jeff P. Walker is here. He says, how are you doing? Thank you for your support. Thank you for the courage. Let's see. Wilhelmina Smith Dix wants us to play the tape. Charles J. Now call your friend in the time to say play the tape, huh?
No. I know Liberian people love to get the news. Not me. I just watching.
Uh, uh, so Jake Barty is here. Um, and Doris Toddy is here from, I saw somebody from another country. I missed it already. Clarence Benson is here. Jake Barty is also here. Ye Bege is here. Victor King is here from Richmond, Virginia. Say, please play the tip, James. Go on to James' website. Norman Dennis is here. Uh, Jake, okay, I said Jake. So anyway, before Nelson, tell Miss Titi that I welcome all of my relatives and cousins and friends. I also want to welcome Valentine Precious. She's also an avid watcher of the program. Before Nelson came my complaint, I want to welcome all of you. This is your station. We're going to do our best to flow here today, but you know, with the spoon that you're watching, things flow as they come along. We got a lot of things to talk about. Musa Dean, the Justice Minister, Mr. Musa Dean, put out a letter out there. We're going to read the letter out to you so you can know. And also have some thoughts on that. There's also this thing that was in the newspaper, James. I'm sure you and Nelson saw it about, and Diamond spoke about it yesterday. That the James Bonnie story. There was a press release that sent another press release rebuking another press release. So press release, saw press release, and press release Jack. That's how I see the story. The conundrum, I believe that's the word that was used in the newspaper. And I'm going to ask Mr. Fagon to lead us in that story because he's been watching it closely and following the story. He's going to actually, when it comes to that part, he's going to talk about it and moderate the show moving forward. And then, of course, I think we have the video of Yakat in being kicked out of plenary, and we can also.
We should not play that video.
It's bad, James.
Don't play that video.
Wow, James, it's not culture for our children's ears.
No. That video bad. The thing you get telling the speaker in that video when you run away.
Okay, we'll see.
I think the only good video we can play maybe the Fiamma video, but that video, no, the language from Yeka to the speaker is not okay.
Okay. Anyway, we will reflect upon it, but in a good way. But also, do you have the video where President Weah reappoints Edwina Collins to Deputy Commissioner for Maritime? Do you have that video? The time, because this is a reappointment. So she was also facing the Senate before, where
she appeared before.
Yeah, she appeared before, and now they are sending another letter for her reappointment. So. If we have the previous video, we can explore that information as well. And then any other information will be open for us to discuss. We'll talk about that. And then we'll go to announcement. We're looking forward to, I would announce it again, to having Musability and Fakisi Khanit. Fakis is gonna get mad at me because I'm not pronouncing his name correctly, but Mr. Khanit is here. He wrote an awesome article, a very insightful article about Musability, his upbringing, his contribution to Nima County. And usually when we talk about Musability on this show, we only talk about him from a CPP perspective, but I actually got to see a different side of Musa, the one who is running to be representative in Nima County. That was spoken about, and it kind of was talking about our struggles with ethnicity in different parts of our country. So I think we're going to focus our interview on that aspect of Musability on Friday. Okay, so here we are today. We're going to go into our 2 minutes. Whatever on our mind, panelists going to talk about what they feel, whatever thoughts they have, and there will be other people coming in to join us. Honorable Fagon, welcome to the show. Let me check.
No, now I'm telling Minister Fagon to do his camera like this.
I like to do my camera. Me at old school. I'm a teacher.
So today, Mr. Fagon, Please go ahead. Welcome to the show. Give us your 2 minutes opening comments. And you already told James that you're not going to change your camera.
My hand on
They,
there.
you know, James, they feel they're smart. They look at fat people and they want to put a see them good. Then they say, spare yourself, spare yourself. I can't spare myself. You can't force me. I'm looking like Slim Mancho right now. First of all, I'm single. My birthday coming on the 1st of April. I need a
You just say
I'm single.
it's that. Oh, you gotta say spoontvharmony.com. Y'all hear it?
Yes. And y'all don't go on Good Day thing to find me. I got my own page. And I got my own inbox.
Spoontvharmony.com. I'm gonna start my own mashing club here.
Yeah, because you know somebody said they want to send me a message. The last time they said I wanted to send you the message, but you know I couldn't get to you, so I sent it through Good Day. So I said, so what was the message? The person said, oh, for real? I didn't know. I thought you were close to G. Why you told Good Day now? I can't hear it. Then when I called Good Day and he read on the show, the Liberian people deserve to know the truth. Good Day said, I'm blocking Everson. So Good Day, when did I unblock you?
Oh.
You shot talk. Let me put your head.
Oh, but you can't go to the person that explain to you. You want me to play with me?
Let's tell the truth for part first. When did I unblock you? How many days ago?
She only told me she wanted to talk to you. You want me to talk?
Okay, yeah, please. We're not here for harmony.com. Harmony.com.
It's been almost 1 year and a half. I'm blocking. Now 4 days ago, because of the program, I'm blocking.
Also, you blocked James 4 years ago.
No,
you know,
a year and a half.
Minister Falcon blocked me. At that time, we were on a battlefield. The media and Minister Falcon.
You got a message for me and you converted it to yourself.
The name of black Fagon. What you want? The name of black.
No. After that, after I found out the truth, I blocked him because you were dangerous to my survivor.
I know, right?
So anyway, happy birthday in advance.
No, that way April 1st, don't rush it. I'll be around your era.
Well, that you talk about it now, and you say that way April 1st. Man, you're not hard, you're not cool, man. Anyway.
All right, let me do my little 1 minute opening.
Yes, do that.
Thank you, and Good Day. It's good to see you.
Chief.
And my friend Nelson Colette, it's good to see you, my dear brother. Thank you, Dr. Francine, for always holding up the fort. I'll start my opening by saying to the Liberian people, open your eyes, open your ears. Let your brain work for you, for the most part. Think smart. I'll give you a couple of examples. Today, some of the facts we're getting in some of the cases, we would never have known. We would never have come to grips with these grim realities that we now face today. The truth of the matter is, Madam Ellen Johnson Sirleaf came to power. She saw those fearless ex-commandos, generals, former fighters. She put together some rice, and every month she will give them little rice and little monies, and they will go about their business and do their business. President Weah came to power. He hired them, gave them lucrative jobs, and armed them. I repeat, and armed them. He took 2 of them, put them to the Freeport, Logan Davis, Sabato, Dennis. He put General Invasion at the airport. He took Isaac Riley and put him to the FDA. He took Ofori Dua and others and put them to the NSA. He took Valley Teller, Hargray, and Thomas Gow and put them by the MCC, gave them a de facto army, and made Jefferson Koji the commander. Unless you people forget, when the cache of arms were discovered at the port, we saw the same technique. 100 persons sitting behind their laptops being paid $200 every month to be on social media and rubbishing posts. Let me say to the Liberian people, when we face the serious issue of the social media, as deputy minister, I recommended to government that we needed a social media team in order to be robust and to take over the whole social media. I did not recommend to government that when people get killed, people should rubbish their death and falsely accuse the victims as perpetrators. That was not my recommendation. The latest of which should remind you that when the cache of arms were discovered, everybody believed that it was the opposition that brought in the guns to destabilize the country. That's because the internet was overwhelmed with the accusation that it was the opposition. What happened to the story of the guns? Today, the 100 persons are still behind the laptops, telling us that somehow it was Laura Mususkat who killed her own daughter. Laura Mususkat may be one person. Spoon Network has been digging up stories and trying to place them there. I stand here today in my 2 minutes to tell Liberians, there is absolutely no way police will come up with a press statement the next day telling us that someone left in the house that was a contractor, which turned out to be false. Telling us that there was no break-in, which turned out to be false. Telling us that this woman narrated her story, but telling us she did not later on. But they asked us for information, and someone on our network gave them information. They did not follow up until we are where we are today. The lies are too many. Liberians, open your eyes, open your ears, and use your brains. Thank you for having me. That's my 2 minutes opening.
Okay. Thank you very much, Mr. Falcon. I hope you heard what he said again. And hopefully you can marinate that information and make that applicable to whatever decision that you have to make as a citizen of Liberia. Good day, your 2 minutes. And of course, I'm going to have Al Hussein Fadiga come on today, and Leo Johnson is also joining us as well.
I have 2 minutes.
Yes, you do. Good. Oh, good day. No, you don't have 2 minutes. I'm subtracting.
Hello, you getting me? That already?
Yes. Can you hear me? Good day. Yeah, you got 2 minutes.
That video you want to play now?
Yeah, I know that. You asked me if I had 2 minutes. Go ahead.
But the funny thing about you even getting 15 seconds of video at 13.
I don't want to use 13 seconds of my 2 minutes.
Good day.
All right.
The residents here in this is more like a community pass-through. So if you're just sending us, you share the light. The residents here in this is more like a community pass-through. So if you're just sending us, you share the light.
Mr. Falcon, you're laughing and then you start laughing. Okay.
So, okay, let me conclude my 2 minutes now.
Mm-hmm.
My 2 minutes, I know you guys will talk about it, has to do with the communication from the Ministry of Justice. But I'm here thinking, and I have like 1 or 2 questions for the Justice Ministry and the people of Liberia. The ministry issued a statement that they will be conducting autopsy.
Can I read a statement, James? And then you speak about it. Okay. So it says for immediate release. Monrovia, March 6, 2023. The Ministry of Justice has ordered the conduct of an autopsy on the remains of Charlo Musu, who died at the home of former Chief Justice Gloria Musu on Wednesday, February 22nd, 2023. Justice Minister Frank Musa Dean has said that the autopsy is necessary in light of the ongoing investigation to determine through a scientific method the cause of death of young Charlo. This, he said, will help. I'm just, to help us here, to help the Liberian National Police unravel, try to find the facts and circumstances that led to her death. He said the autopsy, they think the scientific report, the fact It will help them to find what happened to this girl, how she died. Meanwhile, the Ministry of Justice is admonishing all political actors. I mean, they're warning, they're telling us, all of the political actors, all the bloggers, the media, the commentators, and pundits to refrain from stop from making wild speculations, allegations, and inferences. Wild is the key word here about their ongoing investigation. Second guessing, they say anybody second guessing the direction of the NLNP ongoing investigation is unwarranted and uncalled for, the Attorney General asserted. Signed, Letcherwood Rennie. So that announcement that was made for the public. Go ahead, James. Tell us what you are thinking.
Yeah, it's about the autopsy. My point was, why are we going to conduct autopsy? Why autopsies are conducted? Are they conducted to know the cause of death? If yes, we already know what killed this girl. She was starved to death. Another question would be, will the autopsy establish who starved or who killed the girl? Do we have the machines to do fingerprint? Those are just few questions. If the ministry was conducting a press conference, I was going to ask them why the autopsy is being, why they want the autopsy to be conducted. If the autopsy will establish the person who killed the girl, because the entire country already know how she died. She was starved to death. She did not die from poisoning or whatever. We already know that Nev did you go away until she died. May her soul rest in peace. So now the next question would be, would they be able to determine who really did, who used that Nev before she could die? Yeah, those are just few questions. If I was in Liberia and they're having press conference, I was going to ask. Because the last time I attended autopsy, it was during the Princess Copper autopsy. And basically what we went for, or what they were conducting the autopsy for, was to establish what killed her, the substance that really killed her. Maybe the professionals were explaining to me why it is necessary to be conducted, and I am not, and I don't know anything about it. Okay. So those are just questions I wanted to ask.
Yeah, James, you raised several good questions, and we're now going to open the discussion about the questions that you asked. And you asked, why do an autopsy? You said we already know the cause of death. Will the autopsy be able to determine what caused her death? Those were, in paraphrasing you, what you said. So I'm going to actually welcome Mr. Johnson to to the show. Welcome, Leo. So I'm going to actually ask you to give your 2 minutes, and if you want to include providing some thoughts to Jane's comment as well, that'd be helpful. And then we're going to go back to Honorable Fagon.
Thank you, and greetings, everybody. Honorable Fagon, good day, and Dr. Richardson, good to see you. And greetings to all Spoon ardent followers around the world. It's good to be back. So my 2 minutes, but to just throw some thoughts on what James said, I want to just clarify, we do not know the cause of death. Just because she was stabbed multiple times with a knife and everything and died, doesn't necessarily mean scientifically it is the cause of death. Because the cause of death is what made you the person finally gave that last breath. And sometimes when the medical doctors or whoever is doing the autopsy as a professional, or the pathologist, when they do the examination, sometimes they will realize that even though the person was stabbed multiple times, other things may have been the cause of the final thing that happened. So we suspect, obviously, from what we see, that most likely it is the stabbing. And I just want to say scientifically, that is the reason why an autopsy is done, to scientifically verify and validate that she died from the stabbing wounds. Or sometimes some people have underlying health issues, that even though she was being stabbed multiple times, but something else may have already triggered her death. before even the stabbing would have gotten her there. So I just wanted to make that clear. So the autopsy is still necessary. It's only going to show the cause of death. It's not going to show who did it, how it was done. That's why I was asking about forensic the last time. That is when a forensic expert would have come in, taking fingerprints from the knife, from the weapons. But my 2 minutes is that what's been worrying me, Dr. Richardson, and it's been bothering me. It's bothering me for a long time. It's the fact that the Liberian government is still being run on Gmail accounts.
Oh,
Most of the top level government officials are still running the Liberian government on Gmail. So imagine if the government decided to fire me for something wrong that I did, and I'm really upset about it. I take my Gmail account with me, and every transaction that has happened during my tenure, whether I was a minister, deputy minister, or whatever. So whoever is coming in, so every time there's an election, if you notice, and another party come in, the country start from 1847. Because everybody has to start from zero. There's no historical. All of these relationships that may have been brokered in the past with whoever was there, unless that person is friendly and professional enough to, be kind enough to do a turnover to you. And then you see government officials use those arrangements and engagements to start running their private businesses after they leave office. They take those relationships as their private, personal engagements and go and run it with other things that they do. So that part worries me a lot, because how do we expect government officials administrating everything to keep building on? In a professional place, Dr. Richardson, you will know, there are email servers. Every staff email is stored on that server. The day you leave the organization, what are you, vest? What are you not vest? The organization is able to retrieve every single information that was using that email. They can stop you from going into your own email as it exists. So I think this will really help us if the government can start to look at ways where we have, and it even encourages transparency. Because if you know that the company or the government has access to all of your emails, when you're doing something on Coco GT in the corner or whatever, you'll be thinking twice, because if the government ever decides to audit your emails, they can actually get access to those communications. And even if you delete it, they can get it.
yes. And before going to Mr. Falcon, not to even go too far by email, I just heard that the United States government is now going to prevent TikTok application from government agencies.
Canada as well is doing
Yeah, okay, yes. And so that is something so simple, because they suspected that it's a Chinese application, that it may be it might harbor some spyware on it, and the United States government do not want to do that. But that is just to tell you some the beauty of technology, how people can use it to prevent governments from getting in situations that they shouldn't be in terms of employment. Somebody leave, they take all the information, and then we got to start over again. I want to welcome Al Hussein. I see he corrected his name. He doesn't have Fadiga at the end, so I'm going to be calling him Al Hussein. I think that's the correct brother we have now. He wants to make sure that it is not his brother Al Hassan. So I want to welcome.
I noticed that. Sorry, I noticed that it becomes too long and then it cover my face, especially when I'm burying the whole. Sometimes when I watch the afterplay, I'm like, you know what? I should probably put my prophetic name there. Prophet Truth.
Mr. I'm coming for you right now. The way you look at it, something's cooking up there. So I want to welcome you to the show. I'm going to give you your 2 minutes to just give your point of view, what's ever on your mind. This is the opportunity to talk about that. And then we're going to circle back to Mr. Falcon. Today, I just read the announcement of the autopsy that was put out by Minister Musa Dean. And then this is what we're talking about, but you can add whatever is on your mind.
Yeah, a lot on my mind. Well, Eugene and myself go way back. I remember when we used to do it. In fact,
I'm gonna follow everybody. Jim just said we used to do it. Then
it was.
He really need Ali. He did it ask on that.
I remember when one time, man, I tell you what, the plane incident in Morocco, the man said, I don't see Senegali man. He brought that Senegali stuff, man. It was fun. But yeah. But
wait, tell it for the real story at the end of the show, okay?
For the real story.
Where the Fadigas from? Soon as one get me out, I can put in one country. Get a more Ali, I put more Ali in Pakistan quick.
All right. So the Musa Dean. Before the whole stuff. Yeah, I know another press release from the Justice Carr's family that they were denied access to the body, and the government are taking possession. I don't know whether you read that yesterday. That was out there yesterday, even though we didn't talk about it. And the whole thing just get weirder every day, and it's just bizarre. But what I do know is this: the fact that the government have chosen to put this thing in the court of public opinion. The sad thing about the court of public opinion is that nobody wins. Even if Jesus Christ were to come down and say, you know what, this pussy kid, that pussy, people have made up their mind. Whether it's based on political, tribal, whatever line, everybody takes their position, they marry it for better or worse to death to a spot. So this could be a bad thing for the government. That's the reason why you want professionals to do professional work. Police needs to be independent. Police need to do their work. They do not need to be partisan. When you become partisan and you try to everything, you want to protect your government and protect this thing, then you create this thing. Then you play out in the court of popular opinion. And in the court of popular opinion, nobody wins. And the people that are seeking justice don't need to prove much. We saw Councilor Warrior came on air. He made some wild allegations. Even a sound man would say, you know what? Some of the things he said, probably I'm not too comfortable with it, but it's just information. What happened? What did we see afterward? We saw a government that made himself to appear more guilty. We saw Jefferson Koji trying to give her $5,000. I don't understand why he would give her $5,000. Imagine a government official in America giving her $5,000 to a victim. Now, $5,000 is a small money for a Liberian government official. But in America, when you give even $1,000, it's a big deal. The fact that you can give that amount of money, that's a huge amount of money. I mean, we can afford it, but it's a huge amount of money to be giving on. That would not make you less guilty, appear less guilty. We see them sharing this. Nobody. I mean, I'm saying nobody because the Valley is, I don't know. They have elevated Valley to a point that he's now bigger than anything else. Few days ago, who knew Valley? But when you see the government trying to protect, so this thing should have been a clear court case. If you knew that you didn't do something, follow the law, the police do what they do. They don't have to necessarily tell the public everything, but the harder they try and the bizarre way they're doing it, it making them appear guilty. So they can keep the body, do autopsy, like Leo said. Autopsy will just tell you the cause of death, but it won't tell you who killed the person. Never, you know. I believe, I know Gute said something, you do know what a librarian is. We do have some CC investigators in Liberia. I mean, early on, when I just graduated from high school, my first job, I worked with the NBA for some time, and I was able to work with a lot of good, people. We have fingerprint experts. We have a lot of people in Liberia, but these people never get recognized. Yeah, so this is a country that professionals are not recognized. You find out that people that will get the job and then go back to the university to get a credential. You see the funny thing? Liberia is the only country that you see ministers and lawmakers going to university. You want to say how weird that sounds? People in government, then they're going to university. So it's a reverse. It's done in reverse in Liberia. In other countries, people that are ready, that apply themselves to take the job. In Liberia, you get a job, then you go look for the experience. So I will be looking at that. So this whole thing is playing out now. So we already know where we end up. People have married their position. They're not going to change it. And another thing again about this election. And Madam Friends, I know I probably got 30 minutes, 30 seconds, but let me just say this.
Yes, you got 30 seconds.
We are, this year is a very important year for Liberians. And for a lot of you under the sound of my voice that listen to the media, October 10th is on the ballot. And what October 10th means for Liberia is that it's a referendum on George Weah or the CDC 6 years of government. Now, I know how I feel about this government. It left for you. When you go to that ballot, you have your conscience. You have to ask yourself, what kind of Liberia do we want for ourselves and our children? Is this a Liberian that will just have a kakistocracy form of government? Is it a government that will find people just have scattered, misplaced priority? Is it a government that you want to provide the basic needs for your people, provide that level playing field that you can work hard, apply yourself, and there will be something like at the end of the tunnel? Do you want a partisan government? Because there is a difference. You may not like Ellen, but there was something about Ellen government that is different from this government. When people are actually doing the right thing, the resources trickle down. When you have people that are not doing the right thing, you have what we have right now. The country is hard. Even they say the soap they wear Armani suit. How they call that soap? They suddenly wear Armani suit. Someone they say in the phrase in Liberia there. So I mean that's my 2 minutes. Yeah.
Thank you very much. You made some really, both of you, Mr. Johnson, Mr. Hussein, Al Hussein, you guys are making some really great points. All I can say is there was an exposure of the security sector to the public. This was one of the great things I think that having a conversation about this death did for our country. It showed the gaps that we have in our security apparatus. And one of the things that George Weah government has boasted about security and freedom of speech, and both things, as you can see, are coming out and having an interesting interplay in the media. Mr. Fagon, your thoughts about this whole autopsy business, the press conference, if you want to talk about that, and then I'm going to turn the show over to you to talk about the Bonnie story, because you are well aware and abreast of this story. So your thoughts.
The first thing, you know, I listened to Good Day, and I think Good Day was partially correct, as Leo was partially correct, and that's why I went and took the little instrument and put it in the chat room.
Mm-hmm.
Tomorrow will make it 2 weeks since this lady died. I stand to be corrected. Maybe Agbele. But if you look there, Liberia does have a coroner.
Mm-hmm.
And every county has a coroner. This death certificate should have been out long time. The coroner should have informed the government as to the cause of death. Now, like Leo said, they now order the autopsy now, which the state can order, like I put there.
Mm-hmm.
But when there is a contestation, then you order the autopsy to be done. It can either be done by the coroner, pathologist, medical person. But here is what I want Liberians to know, and I challenge President George Weah. His ex-girlfriend, his baby mother, is married to the lead pathologist in the country. That's why all these deaths, he played with it. And the last time I warned him, he is married to the baby mama of George Weah. And I'm challenging President Weah to say that louder so we can know what the truth is. So we're looking for the coroner to tell us the cause of death. 14 days now pass, you bring your replacement, social replacement, to come do autopsy. But here as well, you will be amused. And that's why when they used to do that thing in the ministry, I just used to look at them. The first thing the government said, I want you to look at the first paragraph, that the Ministry of Justice has ordered the conduct of an autopsy on the remains of Chalo Musu, who died at the home of former Chief Justice. She did not die at that home. You heard the pastor say.
Yes.
They rush her to the hospital.
The
hospital said they get bleeding.
Exactly.
Leo said exactly.
You didn't hear school fee.
I was just saying, thus the importance of an autopsy, if they were transparent, to be able to determine that.
The first thing government again in the cover up is killing the girl in Gloria Musu's cat house now. The kid they get there now. The girl didn't die there, but the kid hurt it. The second thing here is who's ordering this autopsy? It's the state. And if they go to court, it will be the Republic of Liberia versus that person. Therefore, it is the state through the Ministry of Justice. Next, if you look at the second paragraph, Justice Minister Frank Musadi is an individual. This has nothing to do with the individual. You don't put name there. It is the Ministry of Justice now that is going to say that this is necessary. But why are you saying that this is necessary in light of the ongoing investigation? Oh, so far it was not necessary. After the juju somebody Leo, it's not necessary. The people don't deserve to know. If you look at the third paragraph, they still quoting Musa Dean that this itself will aid the Liberian National Police unravel the facts and circumstances. Or autopsy will unravel the facts and circumstances. So they break in, they wow that I autopsy will talk, or will tell you who went there, who juju they get. And if you look at the other one, you're telling us to refrain from yada yada yada. When you see Fadiga then saying and Leo then saying that people in the government are inept, this is the example. This should be the Republic of Liberia. But clearly you see cover up all over it. They get down. In fact, they took her from the first hospital because of what she was bleeding. Now you not care her in the woman horse. You telling the public she died in the woman horse. That is why, like Leo is saying, and like I have shown you, the coroner was supposed to tell you the cause of death. Now, governor said the guy died in the horse. Why can't the guy in the horse? The man that married George, we have baby man now. President George, we have baby mother. We come back again to can give us biased story. Because he has always given us biased story. And I will say this before we go to the James Barney situation. That if you will come up to tell people that they should stop second guessing. Hey man, let me speak like brain English when they want. They said that was Valley that did it thing. Valley was across the road from the police station. Nobody went set to ask Valley. Valley, oh, they said, are you? No. They called Koji name. From Thursday until Monday, nobody asked Koji one question. In fact, Koji had a press conference. So all the things they're talking, they can hire another 100 people. Let them take over the whole social media. Liberian people can see through the glasses. And that dark goggle they're wearing, like that thing where you are wearing in Ghana with Kosu. They can see that plain glasses they're wearing. They can see and they can hear. And that's all I would say, that governor carry get in the horse. The guy died in the hospital again, or on the way to the hospital. She died in the house. That's where they removed the body from. That's what the governor is saying. And that is totally ridiculous. Thank you, Madam Moderator.
Thank you, Fagon. And I think you kind of raising really, really great and interesting points in how institutions, government, we all have to be very careful how we put our releases out there. We have to be very clear and direct. And you just put holes in this press release. And to me it's contradictory a little bit, because at one end you're saying you need a scientific cause of death, and then the other end you're saying that you want to unravel the facts and circumstances that led to her cause of death. So scientific cause of death, then you want to unravel the facts that led to the cause of death. What are we talking about here? So again, thank you for looking at it very closely and giving your suggestion. Before we move on to the Barney story, does anyone have to add any other thoughts to what you heard from Mr. Fagon?
Yeah, so just what Fagon said, Dr. Richardson, again, because in Liberia, for some reason, I think our society has gotten us to a place where the reasons for which these things are done have been totally lost on people. So when you say it, sometimes people don't realize it. A scientific cause of death in court cannot be, we saw they get stabbed and they get died, or they stab, they get multiple times, they get died, so they stab and kill her. That's like, you can't do that in court. Even in the United States, where we see people being shot and die, the state will still conduct an autopsy to scientifically prove in court that this person died from the bullet wounds. So people just need to know this is not in favor or against the government. Unfortunately, they're using it they do it for the wrong reasons, and they set up the wrong expectations. When you start to say the thing will unravel what happened, there's no way an autopsy is going to unravel. All the autopsy will tell you, it will confirm that this young woman died from multiple stab wounds, or it will confirm that this young woman did not die on the scene in the house. She finally died at a hospital, at a health center, or wherever they actually. That's all it's going to say. Now the investigation has to now unravel who did the stabbing, where the weapon came from, and how it happened. So people just need to take off their partisan hat sometime and just examine these things, and don't get confused with why an autopsy is done. An autopsy is only done to scientifically establish the cause of death. No matter whether you are on the scene when they stabbed the girl or not, a court will not honor anything that is unscientifically saying that this is what happened. And you don't need a medical professional to actually do it, the autopsy. The coroner can do it. Any other qualified examiner can actually do it, or a medical professional can actually do it.
Okay, thank you very much. Al Hussein, did you have a thought there?
Yeah, the thing is, I think I've already said what I wanted to say. I don't want to keep beating this thing. But let me just say one thing. The genie is already out of the bottle. They cannot put it back in there. We just have to face it as it is. Whatever will be. I'm less interested in this thing right now because what's happening right now, it doesn't matter how much they try. Look, we have so many unsolved murder. I won't say one is more serious than the next. Look at the lady that died up. That was the two people that bodies that were found up Broad Street there. How to call it? Gifty Lama.
Yes.
Gifty Lama is unsolved. I mean, we played a video here the other time for all the librarians that have died in the last couple of years mysteriously. It's like there's no end in sight. Some of this, even those non-political death, the political one, Matthew Innes, we can talk about that. But let's talk about the non-political death, people that have died in Liberia and the cases gone on cold. The only reason we are not solving this thing is incompetence. That's the only word I can come to mind. If we have competent people, we will solve this problem. Even in America, every murder is not solved. But, I mean, come on, man. If you can solve none, why are they keeping Patrice Seydou there? Why is the president so stubborn? Look, and the reason, that's why somewhere in the program we'll talk about this Edwina Collins. I don't like to be the one to beat people down, to something. I think everybody deserves a chance. Look at Emma Glasgow. Emma Glasgow is doing phenomenal at the fishery there. Our women are very innovative. We got a lot of powerful women. But the notion that you just reward people solely based on partisan shit and my good friend Joe Poto wrote something. I'll probably find it and read it.
You scared to say Koji girlfriend? What is scared for?
They say no.
Yeah, wait,
you know that one.
I'm scared too, my man.
No, Mr. Watson just joined us. So please, you got 30 seconds. I want to
you say Koji girlfriend. Now me say disclaimer.
I'm a sedition.
Now deputy president.
I was a sedition. The other sedition there we know each other.
All right, so Koji alleged girlfriend.
Oh, you are saying you found a sedition?
No, I say alleged. The sedition put in my mouth down. Well, and Edwina, we'll be explaining on that.
Yes,
I will hold that thought on the Edwina stuff.
Thank you very much. Yes, I want to welcome Mr. Worsley here. His friend, Mr. Fagon, said he's a physician. So we're just kind of wrapping up on this autopsy business in Liberia. We kind of made several conclusions here that the autopsy is needed from a scientific point of view. We also discussed how he's gone again. I don't know about Mr. Worsley business here today on the show. We kind of just show how the incompetency of our security sector has been exposed big time. There's a lot of, even just putting a press conference that just kind of not adding up, that has some discrepancy in it. It's just not healthy when you at least approaching a legal situation. It's not helpful. It's not judicial when you're approaching a legal situation. So, okay, it seems like Mr. Wazi is not going to be with us. I don't know what's going on, Mr. Vagon, with your brother, the other sedition, but it's okay.
Yeah, that guy keep going off.
The guy IP address.
It's been happening since
that man using dial-up computer. You need to get away with it. Do we still have dial-up?
was he is a rescue man right now to the CDC. So for that reason, If he thought, you see how Pee Wee run away?
I mean,
Yeah.
You
I
guys
wanna-
give
I
us
wanna-
the-
listen,
Where's
I'm-
Pee-wee?
Leo, you don't know our team. And like all of us, let me tell the moderator in 10 seconds. Moderator,
Mhm.
and
Yes.
like all of us in one team, right?
Mhm.
And you know they treat all of us bad. So we
Mhm.
used to gossip.
Ah,
If you understand what I mean.
Yeah.
this
And
is
Pee Wee,
Education Group.
yeah. And Pee Wee know what he used to tell us and what he used to give us.
Hmm.
Because he was there long after they kick us out.
Mhm.
But he was being treated bad. Then you come on the show, you are like, oh, you're talking now because you're not there. You forget what you used to give us. We still got it. Come on now, we're waiting for you. Two of us are waiting for you. Like, come out so we can bring it us as we can discuss it.
So, if the government officials are listening, you are welcome to come to Spoon whenever. This is a public network. We welcome you.
They,
Don't
But
they,
you can't
they
don't
used to
attack
say
us.
they used to say people were being denied. They sent an open invitation. They say,
Yes,
Open
I'm saying
invitation. Leo,
open
when you come
invitation.
here, don't attack anybody you see on the platform. You see Fadigana chunk something in the chat room too. It means that come and deal with the issue.
Yes.
If you look at Fadiga, he say, your name Fadiga, your brother used to play for the Senegalese national team.
Eh?
Then one they one cool player that used to play, new Fadiga, so we know all them.
but now they see people be like, oh, yeah, that already see like the fag on them.
Because some of our government to distract us right now. But again, an open invitation for the government persons to come to the show. If you hear something that you are not happy with, if you hear a fact and you want to stick to the fact and come here and tell us the truth or your side of the story, we'll be glad to have you here. Okay, so we're gonna move on to the Barney story, and Mr. Falcon, I'm gonna circle the show to you and let you moderate this segment of the show, and then we're gonna go back and talk about President George Weah reappoints Edwina Collins to Deputy Commissioner of Maritime. That would be almost our last story before we go to the phone lines. Mr. Falcon, take on the Barney.
Thank you, Dr. Richardson, and I'm just going to be fast to lay out so that all of us can have an input quickly.
Mm-hmm.
We all watched when a resolution was manufactured by both the NPP and the LPDP and served quickly, early morning hours of almost the same day when the resolution came out. We all on this platform know that certain individuals that should have signed did not sign. The colorful ceremony that accompanies such occasion did not happen. That there were allegations of pay to play, and that people were coerced, forced, intimidated from both parties. Now, for the purpose of this discussion, we come down to the NPP. The Senator James Barney of Maryland County, who is also the chairman of the NPP, went to court on one occasion, and the court ruled he's the only one that can call executive meeting and other necessary meetings. Well, it turned out that he did not call the meeting that the resolution produced from the executive committee members. So he did not sign it, but all of us were wondering why he did not fight it. Well, he decided that a day will come when he will fight. To our surprise, recently, we saw a letter suspending him, signed again by the same assistant chairperson for administration. Barney, as chairman, convened a meeting that suspended Joel Howard Taylor, and this so-called chairman. It was also signed by the daughter of the founding member, Charlene Taylor, and other individuals. Well, in his count, to give you an idea before we proceed, he did 5 counts in his letter to the NEC, telling them to throw that coalition document away. The first count was in reference to Article 5, Section 1 of the NPP Constitution that says executive committee meetings or sessions or conventions should be called only by the chairman. He said that did not happen for the resolution. 2, Article 5, Section 2 had to do with the vice chairman for administration signing that resolution while he was in the beltways of the country and right in their nose. He did not authorize him to sign it, nor did he authorize him to do anything of that nature. The third count was Article 3, Section 3.2c in that letter. He said only one member of the advisory board can become an executive committee member. In this case, 3 members of the advisory board signed on the resolution that was carried to the CDC. John Dwayne McCommono, Chief Siri Allen, and Lawrence George. Count number 4. He said that ceased being member of the executive on August 7, 2022. Most of the members on that resolution ceased to become members of the National Executive because they had a convention that elected a new corps of officer. So they could not have signed it because they were not executive committee members. He named them. I don't want to make it long. And count number 5, there is no way you can do a resolution with PP, meaning people who sign it for other people, almost dominating the entire thing. Therefore, he asked NECT to throw that piece of paper away. With that said, the real question here is, when it comes to the coalition, will they be able to survive in the midst of the intra-party fight? That is, fight between the 3 of them. I'll go to Leo for his thoughts first.
Thank you, Fagon. I think the first thing I would say to this is we've seen this play over and over again, whether it was with the CPP, now the MPP or the coalition itself, is that I think people allow this loose attitude of party writing constitutions and bylaws and for a very long time circumventing them, as long as everybody seems to be cool with it to get away with it, until something happened and they're split. Then they bring out the law books and quickly realize that their own constitution has been violated or is being violated so many times in ways that they tolerate it. Now, that being said, they say ignorance to the law is no excuse. I'm shocked. I don't think NPP is able to get over this. I think the ship sailed long time ago when I saw the standard bearer and Senator James Banning, and when this fight ensued. When we saw what happened at Painesville City Hall, do you all remember? When 2 consecutive conventions were being held, one inside of the City Hall, another one outside. Now, if people are ready to go to this point in one party to hurt each other at that level, I will be honest with you, the trust has been lost. I can see how Senator Banning can ever trust anything that Vice President Joe Howard Taylor will be doing. And I don't see how Vice President Joe Howard Taylor can trust anything that Senator Banning will be doing. And within the broader coalition, whoever thinks that Joe Howard Taylor is their person in the MPP, I don't see how they can trust what the Banning side is doing. And whoever thinks Senator Banning is their person in the broader coalition can trust. So, in my opinion, this ship has sailed, and whether the coalition survives or not, when it comes to MPP specifically, I cannot see a consolidated MPP participating in the coalition. It will be impossible. What people don't realize is that they've only signed a resolution of intent. They haven't signed the actual coalition document. The resolution.
No, they have.
They've actually signed the coalition.
And they sent it to NEC. And
Okay.
they only signed it with the Senate.
So,
just to help you understand.
So with the chairman and the standard bearer fighting each other with either one of them on both sides, it is impossible that the NPP, you can have a consolidated NPP as part of the coalition, which I think will hurt the coalition a lot. Like it or not, Senator Jim Banning seems to be very connected with the party rank and file when it comes to the regional bodies and the regional leaders. Senator Banning seems to have a very good hold on that. Vice President Joe Howard Taylor has been more of the figurehead. That's what always happens when you're the figurehead and you have the people who doing the groundwork. They can be more connected to the ground than you. So I think it will hurt the coalition in a very significant way. And I don't see how NPP can consolidate itself with the multiple factions now that have emerged with the Stanley Packling issue, with the chairmanship between he and Senator Jim Banning, went the way it went, and now we have this going on. So I struggle to see how. I think at this point they are just bulldozing their way to see anyone that they can get to say NPP is actually there, because they've all have accepted that it's impossible to consolidate.
Thank you. We'll go over to Dr. Francine for her thoughts, and then we'll come down to Al Hussein for his.
I think the letter that was sent to NEC has a lot of valid points in there, and you outline all 5 of the reasons why NEC should throw the letter out or make a decision that is not in favor of the coalition. How is it that somebody was signed in place of another person? I don't understand that. I don't understand how the Secretary General was making decisions for the party instead of the chairman of the party. So I think NEC is being tested right now, and I also agree with Leo Johnson that the coalition is in trouble. And I think the coalition was depending on Joel Howard to bring in that party. What becomes of Joel Howard now when she cannot bring in her party? What becomes of her? What do they still value her contribution to them? What does she bring in now? Because she can't bring in Bond County. I'm not sure if she can bring in the women, because again, that's another reason why she was elected, to say, oh, we have a woman on this party, so she will continue. She can bring in the women, and she cannot bring in MPP. So this is something that they have to go back to the table to discuss. But I think that James Barney does have valid points in his 5 outlines that he proposed to NEC.
Well, having said that, before I bring in Al Hussein, Eugene Fadiga, I really want you to touch on the part that says the letter that was taken to the NEC did not bear the signature of the political leader of the LPDP, and the letter that was taken to NEC did not bear the signature of the chairman, James Barney. Instead, it was Mulbach who had his signature. So you want to say something, Dr. Francine?
Well, yeah, I wanted to say that, that's an important question for respecting the rule of law in our country. So if we can have a ruling party that will submit something to an institution that requires signature of said people who are responsible for for the signature being a document, is not there. And so why would a ruling party who's supposed to set example and be role models for other parties in our country or for other institutions in our country submit such a document? So that would be my question.
And I think you have a valid point, because NEC will say, we see the document, but one signature is missing, and we need that signature for the document to be complete. But I'll go to Al Hussein. Your thoughts?
Well, why are we hearing this now? We can go to the what happened and why they are fighting. There's a reason why we are here. A few months ago, when these guys were whining and dining together and forming this coalition, they had one thing in mind. And like my good friend Edmond would say, the CDC, the Real Congress for Democratic Change, have refused to share the bounty. This is the reason we are here today. They refuse to share the bounty. It's all about greed. It's all about selfishness. It's all about people that just cannot hold on to their end of the bargain. Look, in anything you do, my dad always say be fair. Even if you're a bunch of, they say there's no honor and motive. Ellie knew how to build a team of rivals. Sometimes team of rivals can be the best team. We have a president that won absolute loyalty. If you came past that, you don't question anything, you don't ask any question, you just obey, and follow. If they have any slight incline that you will not obey or you will not be part of that, you out. We saw this merger, this coalition that came up fine. Look, one of the mistakes that the CDC is making, the reason why I'm not even going into the whole idea of that thing, because the reason we are here is because of what I'm about to say, or else we wouldn't be hearing all this fight. The CDC tried twice. They did not win any election. The third time, when they joined this coalition, they won. For them to believe that they could have won even if they didn't have these people, it's sad. I don't know why they would believe now that they can do it alone. I know that they don't believe it. So for 6 years or 5 years, they kick these people to the curb. They grab all the lucrative people. It was CDC running the show. Even Jua Howard Taylor. At some point, I felt sad for her. They said the president called us for her. This woman was heavily marginalized. We heard, everything in Liberia is an open secret. We heard how they will try to replace her. You could feel the tension. It was now until probably a year or less than a year ago before she even started coming close to the president again. So a lot of the people in the coalition, we saw this with Alex Tyler. We saw this with Prince Johnson. Prince Johnson has been supported no matter what. We saw Prince Johnson talking about his settlement. So everybody crying on this one group that they joined with. So all these things people talking about. So what are they trying to do now? The CDC is trying to use cash fouling because they have unlimited access to cash to buy the way. And I don't know how this will play out. We saw them doing it in Nima County, dispatching Jefferson Kochi there. That's why I asked that guy yesterday whether he still believes that Prince Johnson is the godfather. For anyone to believe that they can kick Prince Johnson to the curb and go on and win Nima County, the CDC doesn't have a base. That's why the census is very concerning to me in the result, because where George Weah came from, the southeastern region, is not a vote-rich region. The total combined vote, and the sad thing, I will say this, if you guys don't believe me, you can check it out now. They have taken all the statistics down from on the Election Commission website. You go to NEC website just now, there is no statistic, nothing about any past election. I had them in my archive somewhere that I've kept. Nothing. You will not see no senator. You will not see any breakdown. Anything. Why would they do that? Go to any other country. You will see the statistic, the breakdown of women that voted, or how many people voted along party line. Go on our national election. In fact, they're giving that error link, that 305 code. All the links are taken down because they do not want people to do analysis of the voters, or something that we used to do back. Nobody know what's going on in ANC. In fact, they should close that site down. It's not even a website. If you follow the something, the CDC doesn't, they want to scatter all over, but they really do not have a real base. So there's no way that you can win election. That's why when you see the number inflicted in the southeast there, Bapolu, Grand Gile, Grand Cru, it's concerning, because the total vote back when you look at, when they had that result was not more than 150,000 votes combined. Grand Gile, I think, was 25,000. Now it's up to 200,000. So the winning of the election was depending on Mangibi County, the Grand Bassa, Lofa County,
we'll come to that.
Of course.
We'll come to that.
Yeah.
See, so I don't know this experiment. I know it sounds like something that Samuel Tuer would do. He thinks he's the smartest guy in the room. It sounds like something that Samuel Tuer, what will fight this guy and would do. And investing money that we'll see whether that will work. But so I'm not even going to go into the whole something of Mary, because we wouldn't be hearing this today if people were treated fairly.
Yeah, Mr. Fagon, there's a point quickly that he's indicated. If you have a minute, quickly, just 1 minute.
Yes, I got a minute for you.
Yeah, thank
Not
you.
more than a minute.
Yeah, quickly. The point that Al Hussein May I wanted to stress on was, it saddens me that we are at a point where we validated and accepted that people can get together and think about winning the election and presidency to divide the bounty. Yeah. That is a bounty. That these coalitions are being brought together by saying how we can divide it, who get what. So it's not about saying what is the agenda for moving the country forward.
No.
It's about saying let's share the bounty here. And the person who you support, he carried this. Now, they didn't live together the first time, so there is no trust that they can live up to it. But just the mere fact that we've accepted, and this is the reason why for me with the CPP, I say if it doesn't happen on the same thing, that's fine. Because if the only reason people are coming together is to win elections, to distribute the bounty so they can pay themselves back because they won an election, then the country is doomed regardless of who wins, even if CDC wins. And maybe that's why God beating them so that God beating them to make sure that the coalition does not hold, because the purposes for which they want to come together is not in the best interest of Liberia.
Well, thank you very much. And I hold the same view that what you're saying is absolutely true. But we also got to consider, you are running to lead the country. Fadiga is running to lead the country. Dr. Francine is running to lead the country. So if all of you come together, and I'm going to go to Dr. Francine on this one, when you all agree, all of you got leaders in your parties. So sometimes it's almost like, Dr. Francine, you got to be the president. Al Hassan, we will fight for you to get a speakership, and you will have the pro tem status. Dr. Francine, I'll put it back to you. Do you think people go to the coalition and do these things? Do you think they're wrong for doing that? To say, hey, we're going to let you be the president. We're going to fight for the speakership. You support us. And we're going to fight for the pro tem. You support us. Do you think that's the wrong thing to do in a power sharing agreement?
Well, and to be fair, I have to say that sometimes in politics that there are exchanges, but to the extent that the exchanges are greater than the interest of the Liberian people, that's where we have a lot of problems. Okay, in this type of exchange, it seems like it's only personal as opposed to what is good for the country. And we also have seen that they have not lived up to that agreement. This is why Prince is mad. This is why Alex Tyler is mad, because they promised those people their own share. They promised them jobs, lucrative jobs, so perhaps, and they put them on board institutions. And we see that never happened. Some people got their board chairmanship, and some people did not. And so now they're coming back and saying, "Trust us." Who's going to trust them? So there's trouble in the coalition. And my question, and maybe you can answer this here: if NEC throws their framework document out, what's going to happen now to this coalition? Is there a coalition? Because
that's the question I was coming straight to Leo with, because Fadiga just spoke. Leo, I want you to look at the prospects now, because any well-meaning National Election Commission would throw that letter away, that document. And for me, I'm not even supporting Barney stuff, but you don't send a document to the principal office and a signature is missing. I mean, I don't know how you run your NGO, but if a spot there with X and it does not come back with a signature, what do you do? So the question here now is, what's the future now? If the document comes back out, what's going to happen?
I think there's a great opening here for the opposition. In the first thing I will say, if the NEC throws out this because of all of the issues and flaws that have been pointed out, rightfully so, that means the whole coalition is not valid, because that means that whole document crumbles, because the document went in as a coalition, not two separate coalitions, not one coalition having 3-party or 2-party and another coalition having 4. It went in as a 4 coalition. So if NEC says, you're sorry, the document does not meet the standard because the signatures that should be on it are not on it, that means there's no coalition. That means you're sending a clear message to everybody in there that if you want to support CDC, support Congress for Democratic Change, you can go ahead and support Congress for Democratic Change. So this creates an opening. This only hurts the CDC, because this will create a valid opening for people to start considering other options as to, okay, because if the reason they're not signing the document in the first place is because they don't trust that you will live up to whatever deal you struck, like you did in the first term. In the second term, where you're not running for election anymore, whether your last term, that the time they will trust. The team where you get in the first term, where you are still going to need them, and the second time around, you're going to come back to them and ask for their votes. You don't live up to you abandon them and mistreat them the way you did. Now that you're winning second term, well, you're not running anymore. You're not even on the ballot after the second term.
You don't owe them.
You expect them to trust. So for them, it becomes a lose-lose situation. We can support the CDC and the CDC decide not to give up fine. We still remain hanging. We can decide to cast our lot with the opposition. If we're lucky the opposition win, that's a different arrangement that hopefully something can come out of it. But if the opposition loses in the end, we were still going to lose anyway, because CDC were just going to bait us in and dump us like they did in the first round, even when they knew they were going to need us for a second round of voting. So I think this actually throws up the whole idea that CDC has a coalition. If NEC throws out that document and the coalition is not able to consolidate all of the parties to agree to sign a framework document, basically you're saying there is no coalition as far as we are concerned, and nothing is binding on anybody.
If you were to help President Weah rebuild this coalition, what would be your advice to him?
My advice to him will be remove Vice President Joel Howard Taylor from the picture. I will call in Chairman Bani. all of the other parties, because you have to acknowledge in these parties, regardless of the authority figure, there are very influential people who can even make the chairman think twice. There are people who, when they talk, and even the chairman can scratch their head and be like, okay, I know I got the authority, but I got to listen to the person here. Brings Chairman Bani in the room. In fact, in my opinion, Chairman Bani has been fighting to have his voice right for the place where it should be placed, and not to be taking orders from Vice President Joe Howard Taylor. Not to have this buffer, because the way it looks like Vice President Joe Howard Taylor has been giving the marching orders to make NPP sign whatever you have to actually do, rather than calling Chairman Bani in the room and say, Chairman Bani, I know we got disagreement. I'm here, President. We are myself. Fagon, 90% of the time, people want to know you heard them and took them seriously, that you then treat them like they are nobody. So if you bring Chairman Bani in a room and say, Chairman Bani, I here to listen to you. The coalition here is in our interest. We may have made mistakes. We may have blundered in the first round, and as leader, I may not have played my role to make sure we stick to the agreement. What can we do to get over this hurdle, Chairman Bani? It's not about whether you support a coalition or not. As far as I'm concerned, you are a member, and when you tell me what we need to do so that the mistakes we made in the first round, we don't see it in the second round if we are fortunate to win. Do it with all of the parties, because it's politics. If you want to win, you, President, we have something to lose. Chairman Bani, a senator, he got nothing to actually lose in all of this in the end. You got something to lose. If this collapses, the greatest loser is President Weah and not Chairman Bani and the chairman of all the other parties who are not the ruling party. It is the Congress for Democratic Change.
Thank you. I go over to Al Hussein Fadika. You heard him right. And this is to you now. Hey, they went to negotiations, right? I'm alluding to what he said. The same advice he said he would give President Weah was given to President Weah. President Weah called the guys to a meeting. If you remember, they even went to Jamaica for the meeting. They told him, this is what you did to us for 6 years. We need the jobs, and we need it now. Plus, we put all of our resources. It has all been about you. We got nothing now to bring, no cars, no nothing. And today, we see that nothing has happened. So what Leo advises is we've passed that level, and Leo was right. But it happened. They did call them, and they said they needed jobs, and they needed whatsoever to push their party. So now, I push it to you. Now that you know these facts, what you think the future of the coalition would be going forward? What would it look like?
I think it's doom. This is doom. It's doom. And the reason why I'm saying this is people tend to talk about this institution as if to say they are powerful. The institutions in Liberia are not powerful. Now, one thing people don't realize, most political institutions in Liberia strive on individual. Take Weah away from the CDC, the Congress, there won't be no CDC anymore. We saw most time once the head leave from there, we don't see it. So there are key figures within those area, figureheads that make these institutions strong. Wherever they go, the supporters go. Look at the voters. These institutions are geared towards bringing votes, right? That's why Prince Johnson alone is an institution. So we are looking at these people and looking at this institution when this institution are just there for formality, just to be on it something. It actually boils down to the individual and what they bring to the party. And I don't think the president or either they know it or they're just downplaying it. Because if you don't treat the individual right, that individual will move on to the next person. And each individual that leaves from your party leaves with some vote. So we're talking about the MPP here. The MPP is nothing with all certain key people. You know, it's the same thing with the ANC or the something. So we need to look at those individuals and how you treat them. And I can tell you this, for the last 6 years, when right after the elections in 2017, what did we see? I saw Chairman Ben Sanvi. I saw Chairman Musa Bility. I saw Israel Akisai when people were strumbling on where to go. I remember I had a personal inbox conversation with Israel at the time. He said, my man, Western guy, often beginning, he said, Western guy, he said, my man, I'm going out to the CDC. He said, the unity party, man, they ain't get it, they already acting that they get it. I can support them. But then, I didn't read it. Boyka was not my first choice. The only reason I actually thought on him a little bit was because I wanted that continuity, and I feel he had better experience and would have at least been a transitional president until we can get rid of the CDC. But people flooded on the side, and I can name you a list of people that flooded to the CDC.
30 seconds.
Even United Partisans who saw Eugene Nangwe deflect, Amara Khan, even though it was not open, but it was an open secret. We all saw people went there. What happened? Every month, they started to silence and kick them. You are another person. How do you call it? Saint Wozy. And the list, even people that they promised. In fact, even me, they invited me to Liberia. I have never seen, it's not about job, it's about hiring competent people. They will bring people to the country. Look, and we'll come to the list, and I will give you the list of incompetence that they have brought,
Because I know about people they brought in, they stay in the country 3 months, they got on the plea and they left.
The agreement. And now what they were doing with people and then they would lie on your name. Oh, I want Fadika Kido Labro, get them $200,000. Oh, that won't fit with it.
Let's go back to Dr.
Yeah, I have a few thoughts that I was writing down here. And let's say, assuming that the allegation about the president not communicating with others is true, I want to know, of course, somebody who's interested in human behavior, what stops the president from listening to others? Leo, you raised a good point. In order for us to have a good negotiation as to, bringing this MPP party back, you have to be able to call the members of the party and listen to them. Not only just one meeting. You said, Falcon, there was already a meeting held. Several meetings have to happen. I also want to know what led him to not having an influencing power in terms of encouraging jobs to be distributed to the other people.
Doesn't cause a shot.
Yes. What leads to that? What leads to him not calling a shot?
Doesn't cause a shot.
What leads to him not doing that? If you promise people something in the beginning, why do you then just go behind and fold your hands and act like you don't know about it? Talk about it.
I think the president is a figurehead. He's the figurehead. He doesn't call the shot.
But the main thing I can tell you, Dr. Francine, even you yourself on this platform, had you not gone with Spoon TV, and I'm saying this to you, and I'm challenging the viewers out there, had you not gone to Morovia with Spoon TV and sat in a group or where the president had to come, say, oh, you're hello, this and that, and you were on this platform talking, and you had gone to Liberia by yourself, I can guarantee you, somebody was the president of Francisco. I won't want to be talking about you were not. I don't want to go into that because I want us to just, if you don't mind, do the full lines and then back over to you so that we can go to Alpha Diga's special interest. I know it's special. Anyway, let's be so far.
Actually, it's 5:23, Mr. Falcon, and a nice conversation, guys, about this matter. I think we came from different perspectives and we made some recommendations as to how MPP need and the Congress need to proceed. Can we go to, let's talk about the last story that President Weah reappoints Edwina Collins, and then we'll start. Fadika, you seem to have some.
Can we do the 6 minutes to 5:30 since you will leave at 6 so that people can call in and give their thoughts about the coalition?
Oh, okay. That's what. Okay.
Yeah, we just want to get a feel for the Liberian.
It's like Barack Obama and Hillary Clinton. When people said Clinton would never support Obama because of the bitterness that happened, but we saw real leadership from Obama. He humbled himself because he knew without Hillary Clinton's support, it would have been difficult. Went to her overnight and said, Oma, if I have to say sorry, I will say sorry. But we have to win this election together and fix it.
But you know the difference there now?
In the interest of the country.
In the interest of the country.
Quote unquote humble.
Yep.
Obama was quote unquote humble.
Humble, correct.
You look at Prince Johnson sat on this platform with you and told you for 2.5 years, this
3
man
years,
ignored me. 3 years, this man ignored me. Then you go on your pulpit and say, people sit down here, they killing like that, they can't sit down here. It's not being humble. You look at NPP and you look at them and say, if anybody think they will come to my party because of jobs, they may say, I will not get any job. And the money they're coming for, I will not get any money. I prefer to get money to the Liberian people. The Liberian people are the same NPP people. So you are not being humble. Even up to this point, you force the thing to the point where you carry paper without document, without signature. Then the people want to tell you start landing. Then you influencing their suspension. Look, if you listen to Alex Tyler, Dr. Francine was here. Guys, if you're in the back, can we do a phone call with the Liberian people? Please, good day. You guys are in the back. Can you call the guys?
Yes. Oh, man, who put Nelson on, man? Not that
good
nice.
day.
Good day. I cannot do that. Don't mind me.
That is not nice at all. Please don't do it.
I said, hey, I told you about good day. Nelson will catch up. I promise you, Nelson will catch him. But you see, like I was saying,
sorry,
Nelson. It all comes down to that one thing. And where there is no trust, we sat down, we listened to Alex Tyler here. How can you ignore another political leader for 3.5 years? As if to say this guy was not the one that helped him with all his 35 pickup trucks and all his offices around the country. He was the former speaker. He brought in those pickup trucks. How can you behave like you don't know the guy?
Well, but Fagon, you're actually missing a point. When all of you guys, all of you crossed and supported the CDC, this rhetoric came up that the CDC is the only giant without, and power is a sweet thing. When you in power, when they say the president coming, the people who support you, the people who not support you, they can count us because the president coming, because the naked convoy the president arriving with. So nowhere the president will go, he will not overfill like the crowd. Does that mean every single person that supports you? No, but everybody president now. So I'm gonna say we are president. We are kind of Canada. I say you having town hall meeting. I will go there because I want to hear what president we are going to say and ask my question. So I think that has gotten to the heads of those in the CDC hierarchy that if you quitted that to be their actual numbers, when it comes down to voting, that's a different story.
But I want to also say that lesson learned. Okay, it's not only the lesson of Josh we have, but Bonnie, Tyler, Prince Johnson, they all should know that you cannot just accept these promises just because of your own personal interest. What about the Liberian people? Okay, what do they get out of this?
Yeah, that's what happened when your personal interest. Nobody wants them on your side because first of all, you're winning your caucus, you're dividing the country based on what you will get individually
and you
compared to say the general good of the country.
And you see, Leo, that's the point I was going to come to before before Nelson starts to take the call. Guess what happened recently? We heard, and I hold in my ear because that was the rumors. But that rumor is strong. And when I hear rumor when I say it's strong, just know that I just won't call it for what it is. You say you get $500,000 to MPP, $500,000 to LPDP. They went to collect the money, they got 40 million LD in LD, okay, which is just like around 175, 200,000. The ordinary real MPP people didn't see it. They only hear about it. And they only saw you going to sun. And he eat fasting. It's like you are carrying the paper with you. But the partisans then gone. It happened with Ability, and I'm not saying that's what Ability did. But we throw Ability on the platform. Don't you think you will hold a paper and Yombly will carry the partisans? And guess what happened? Indeed, Ability held the paper and Yombly lay with the partisans. She was gone. The partisans would follow the person that they believe is talking for them. Not the person who leaves from there the next day, he get brand new Honda Pilot. They get flashy money. The partisans will leave you there. And we're going to see this happening. I don't know about the phone line, but I'll go back to Dr. Francine to take us where she wants to take us. I know where we end up. I don't know where she will take us, but we end up at 6 p.m.
Nelson will be here. There he is. Nelson is here. And so I believe Mr. Falcone, he can speak for himself. He's also here, was asking Liberian people to share their thoughts on this whole issue relating to, the
coalition.
Coalition. Okay, go ahead.
Okay, folks, you can call on 07777 or 05551010075. Let's take the first call. Hello, you live.
Yes, thank you. Thank you very much. My name is Noah Zawu Gibson, and I call tonight from my resident on the Japan Freeway, District number 2. I just want to correct something from Fatiga, that he said that we don't really have much strong institutions in Liberia. Yes, to some extent he's right, but I think we are gravitating towards having strong institutions to some extent. For example, people used to say the Unity Party was built around President Salih. People used to ask questions after President Salih, who the Unity Party will produce. Now, President Salih has left the scene. Joe Bakare is on the scene right now. So, President, we are will nobody the CDC, you will not know who next until President we are lead the scene for the CDC.
Okay,
so gradually we are there. But let me conclude on this note. The co-election that defeated the Unity Party, it was not because that co-election was strong. Fagon will prove this.
Thank you.
The reason I'm saying that co-election was not strong, the Unity Party lost for 2 reasons. One, we were we're disconnected. That is some internal reasoning.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Because we didn't get President Salih's support.
Thank you very much. Let's hold you and take this person. Hello, you live.
Good evening.
Yeah, go ahead. You live. Let's hear you.
Yeah, thank you. I'm Emmanuel M. Super Jr. and I'm joining you this evening from a resident in Oak Community. Let me say even to all folks in the U.S. Well, I want to respond to some that that the dual house law has on to bring. But we are not the CPP. The CDC is not the CPP. We are not heading to what is the petrol.
Okay.
It's bad. His line is bad.
Yeah, your line is not clear. Let's take this person. Hello, you
Yeah.
live.
Good evening, my brother.
Yeah, go ahead.
Thank you. My name is F. Woman T. Diane. And I'm calling you from my purple corner.
You gotta hurry up, sir. You gotta hurry up.
When it comes to the coalition, the first time was coalition. But you know why? The election commission is being put to test not only Liberia, but the international community.
Okay.
If you have to form a coalition and documents that are not incorrect when you take it, then they will know that what is in your mind. But however, I can be small now.
Yeah, just wrap up quickly,
let the Liberian people, the only medicine for this government is to only vote them out. Finish.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Let's hold you there and take another person. Hello, you live. Good evening.
Good evening.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I'm sorry, Ricardo.
Okay.
Yeah, thank you for sure. And let's do this. Anything that will make Charlie out of live in power, some of us are involved with. So what are the cool? What are the I'm happy with that whole thing. I'm doing it. In fact, I don't think there is even any reason why it should be publicized. NPP, what are the leaves? For me, I want even to our also leave those is impossible.
Okay.
And also, yeah, so let them just kill themselves.
Thank you. Hello, you live. Hello?
Hello.
Go ahead.
Okay. This is Augustine Peter, and I'm calling you from PSV.
Augustine, go ahead quickly, sir.
I strongly believe that the opposition will come together. It won't be the first round, but believe you me, the second round, the opposition will come together to defeat the left here from World. So now everybody believes in their own personal ego. Or there will come a time that we bury our ego and rally around each other to defeat Georgia. Thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Hello?
Yeah.
Hello? Okay, we take this person. Hello? Hello, go ahead. You're live. Okay, we lost this person. Hello?
Good evening, Mr. Kule. How you doing?
Yeah, go ahead, sir. Good evening.
Thank you for the panel discussion. That question now, why now?
Your line is bad. Okay, let's take this person. Good evening.
Hello, yeah.
Yeah, go ahead quickly.
This is Albert P. Connor Jr. and I call you for this is my 15.
Go ahead.
The last one I checked, the president intervened. He called James Barney and the vice president to a meeting to see how they can amicably resolve the issue, but did not come to fruition. And secondly, the vice president, in your own power, who, as per the constitution of the NPP, second term has elapsed. What moral ground does she have to suspend James Barney, who is this? The proper James Barney is not looking for a job. As a matter of fact, James Barney is the longest serving lawmaker in the House.
Thank you.
James Barney is not looking for a job. James Barney has 9 years.
Thank
so
you
I
very
think
much.
the coalition is a fiasco. And CDC.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Good evening. Hello? Okay. Wow. Hello,
Okay.
you live?
Yeah, hello?
Okay, the last call here, that the Richardson?
Yes, last call.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, Twazama, go ahead. You live.
Yeah, I have nothing more to say, but one of the people on our show that really puzzle me is Eugene Fagon. I know that because of the legacy.
Okay, no. So, yeah, that the Richardson.
So,
Yes.
Dr. Richardson, there's a quick point here. I just want to be quickly coming. People forgetting what scares me is the fact that all the top people talking as if they are so reliable that the opposition will not take their mokofi last minute to turn the money. All the talking we're talking, even if the coalition collapse, who told you when President we are really put the mokofi on the table, the real money, and go to the same opposition? What stops them from taking it when we've seen it before? That a lot of people cross over. So it's easier to say the coalition can fall apart and this is happening. But can you trust your people in the opposition that when push comes to shove and the matter laying out on the table, they will walk away from the matter on the matter of principles like we've seen in the past?
I can tell you this for 100% true. So, nowadays in Liberia, you put mokofi on the table. If I the way the person would talk to you, say when the mokofi on the table.
So Fagon, let me ask you.
Wait, you will go later and sleep.
Yeah.
Liberian eyes are open.
Mm-hmm.
You put mokofi on the table, they eat it. The next day they will tell you, say, go report me. I'm gone. And let me tell you what happened with MPP and LPDP.
Mm-hmm.
Leo, trust me. Trust me, I said this to you. Mokofi play. You saw the signing? And we know it because we got friends. And we know people who know. But
you just told me they get the people who 40% of the Mokofi that were promised. So they get the Mokofi.
They see people they say the play coming from where we come from there. 5 years, you not give it to us, you giving it now. We eat it and wipe our more. When we reap by July, we'll show you what water in coconut. This is what is happening in the country.
So let me ask you if I go on there. What you're saying is a beautiful theory, except that we are yet.
I'm not giving you theory.
I'm actually coming, except that we are yet to have that evidence. Because we saw, I will go there in 2017, which was the last, I'm talking about presidential elections, the last presidential election we had. When the second round came, it was obvious where the opposition was supposed to be. Instead, all the most influential people from the opposition crossed over to President we are let breeze, let's swear.
Because you could not change what was going to happen. You just could not change it.
No, I have a theory with that. Can I?
So wait, before you come in, just 1 minute. We've still see her show, but just let me tell you something quickly. That just happened again.
Oh, so that one I was
Jeremiah Kun gave the Nimba Quado people there 15 motorbikes, in 1 pickup truck. When they went to Joey, you know what they said there? So watch the video. Jeremiah Kun, he gave out 15 motorbikes, he gave out this. When they were ready to go, they gave them 7,000. If you say a lot of corporate Johnson right now. Wow. When they left, they said, look, guys, who can't read, things say, who come and do something good, he got 7,000 he gave up. Look, Leo, before our house come in, that eating time right now, you put your hair on the board, they will eat it. But when it comes to that time, Leo, I think it's finished.
until I can see the evidence in another presidential election. So far, like the people can say, and, past past experience or past performance is the indicator of the future.
You supposed to
so
see
far,
the Fadiga brothers there.
So the only evidence, the only evidence we have so far in 2017 were all the opposition people who were supposed to be supporting opposition instead went ahead and supported. I mean, was supposed to be supporting the VP, the ruling party for the opposition.
Yeah. At least when the minister bought me a flag, I think he tried to bribe me. I met a man on I don't know where to hear David Johnson or where. The man bought me a flag, Grandmaster County flag, and the one the man bought me. He said, "Let me so you can say I'm buying nothing."
The thing read that our new flag. I saw you wear a t-shirt. I bought your county flag. I give it to you.
So you can say I'm buying. I said, "Okay."
Me, I just ask you if you rely on these people and you can put your head on a chopping bowl that these people are relying.
No. I
can sign my death warrant. You get anybody money now, they will eat it and for
Dr. Richardson, and you hear if I go again?
I'm
hearing.
Let me tell you this.
They were eating.
The WIA is different. The CDC administration is different. And the thing is, the politics they want to play lime into time is very expensive. Had they done it gradually, it would have been different. They waited until the end. They got road project, they got election campaign to spend. And then Prince Johnson, nobody taking it on credit, nobody wants it.
They got a cover.
Yeah, everybody wanted offer. That one making this thing difficult for everybody.
They can print it.
But even if they print it, people don't only want the credit, they want to benefit, they want to be part of the business.
Mm-hmm.
You see, they don't just want to care, they want to be part of the government too. So they cannot, it's just.
So when you heard Senator Prince Johnson, Senator Prince Johnson said, if another $5 million on the table, Senator Johnson didn't say the government is so bad that no matter what you put on the table at this point, I will not support this government based on principle. Senator Johnson said the only way he will be prepared to negotiate with President we are in the coalition if the Nima County people money is put on the table. So say you rely on the people you trust them. October coming.
I'm just looking at how to be able to put all the money on the table.
Okay. A spirit of conversation.
We whole market for the put a post. Someone get a key to the put a post. Say, thank you. But we going whole market view. Go look at it.
Spirit of conversation. Let's just talk about maybe we got about 3 minutes because that'll take us to 5:45 before we start doing our closing. I want you guys to just briefly share your thoughts about what we're seeing here. This reappointment of Edwina Collins. James told me he has the video. James, can you play that video of her first Senate hearing? Confirmation hearing. James, are you there?
Chief Brown is sleeping too.
Colette won't see him, but he not run away.
Tell you. Because he told me, I think there was a message in the back room that he said, "Oh, good day." So we're playing Seesaw now. Good day. You told me you had the videotape.
Yeah, that the video ever since I tried uploading it, not going.
Now you can say ever since you watching Borussia Dortmund game with Chelsea.
No, I'm not watching football game.
Are you watching football game? Bring that video, man.
I'm doing presentation for tomorrow on political parties in Liberia.
But Fagan, like you watching the game, how you might know the accuracy of the game?
So you see what I'm doing?
I Liverpool man, I'm Chelsea man.
So you can't. The video is not uploading.
Yeah, it's not going through.
Okay. All right. Anyway, we can just have a brief discussion.
Well, put a picture there.
Yeah, put a picture there with the picture that you put in the chat room. Okay. So here it is. It says that the Senate denies Edwina Collins' confirmation as Deputy Maritime Commissioner for International Vessel Registration, cites lack of qualification. So we see that in it was I don't know the date of that letter, but in today or recently, the president. Yes, the president. No. I'm talking about today's letter. The president reappointed her to this position that she was rejected for. So what are you guys thinking? What are you guys thinking again? How does this relate to competency, our country? This is maritime is an important place. It's an important revenue agency. Again, this is the letter.
So what is letter A that's saying is when a winner presented herself first for this position, it was found out that when it went through the hearing, it came out that she was not qualified. And she had just gone to this maritime school to get this certification. And like I said earlier, Liberia is the only
I'll
country
just say she lied. Why you just beating around the bush?
I'm coming to you, Falcon.
She lied. She kind of embellished it a little because there was some truth. Half true is almost true, even though it's not true. And we have seen this pattern over and over with the airport. Look at the guys. We have seen the president nominate multiple incompetent people at the airport. You saw the other heavyset guy that they put there. I've forgotten his name from Philadelphia. That said he went to some yeah. And he didn't get it too. If we didn't have the noise behind it, he probably would have gone there. I don't know. There's something about this president that have this affinity for incompetence. That's what I'm saying. I think it's all about having absolute loyalty, like I said earlier. So this lady was rejected. I have nothing. I don't know the lady. She could be a very good manager. She could be a good commissioner. But the bottom line here is this lady, just barely a year ago, when she was going to school, was denied by the Senate. You want to tell me that they held this position for another year? There isn't any other competent Liberian in the Republic of Liberia to hold this position? That it's like, I don't want to say how we function in Liberia. How in a 43,000 square mile country with over 5 million people, that only this person. It's the same thing with the guy with the LACC, the Nigerian guy. He violated the law. He had to go and correct his crime and then come back again to fix it. So it's like the president operates the government like a criminal syndicate. It's like I'm the don, I'm the warlord. All my people can just do whatever you want. And this is the reason we're having cases unsolved. Our judiciary system is being disrespected. The constitution that they so ought to uphold, they are violating. So I'm surprised and shocked. I don't know. I pray that the Senate reject her again. And the reason here is people shouldn't people should be ready on day one to do this job. When you have people learning on the job, this is why we have mediocrity. This is why nothing getting done in our country, and we keep lacking behind other countries. Eugene, go ahead.
Thank you, Hussein. I want to go to Leo Johnson, and then we'll go to Falcon. And Leo, in your answer, I want you to take into consideration the role of experience, not just education, getting a certification, experience and critical thinking. So if you can speak to that, that would be helpful too.
Yeah. First of all, I will take it a step back, Dr. Francine, with the point that you just asked me to consider. How can we be blaming candidates for the frameworks created to hire for a job? If a country is hiring people for jobs, the first starting point is what is set as the minimum criteria for who should apply for a job. Mm-hmm. If I'm a candidate trying to find a job and I see the minimum criteria, Dr. Richardson, and they said the minimum criteria is a doctorate degree and 10 years of experience.
Yes.
And I only have 2 years of experience. What would make me go all my time to sit down and go apply for a job when I don't meet 50% of the minimum criteria that was asked for? So the question we should be asking is, what's enabling these people to even be nominated when we're running a country with no framework set? In my opinion, you saw the first hearing. I followed the first hearing very clearly. The senators are going back and forth. Someone for that kind of job, and they're supposed to get experience like this, and they're supposed to get experience like that. No, in fact, in my opinion, in any organized government, I've seen other government job postings here, whether it's in the US and even in Ghana. I was helping them with some stuff. It's very clear. And it is that document that's supposed to be sent to the Senate to say, here, that same document is supposed to be shared with the Senate to say, here is the posted qualification or requirements for the job. So when the Senate brings someone in to vet them or confirm them, what kind of framework the Senate using? Everybody asking their own question, throwing their own, they don't have like a uniform guideline upon a rubric to say, when we finish, we can look at the rubric and say, yes, the person met this. No, they failed this. Yes, they met this. And then the overall cumulative mark would be like, yeah, this person is qualified to get the job. No, you will have all senators asking the aspirant, the people who support the government appointment to the senator, asking a question that made them look good. The people who don't support the appointment asking a question that will hopefully make them look bad. Then at the end of the day, the other people who in between what just hope they can get their late into the deciding to figure out which side they're on. So my thing is, I cannot, in this case, to be honest with you, blame a candidate or blame the executive who's exploiting. Where is this, the grits of the Senate to say to the executives, we're sorry, especially for technical jobs. And I'm even talking about political, when a political jobs, you can say, okay, that political, appointment whatsoever. But when it comes to technical jobs, why is the Senate not requiring a uniform rubric to be able to say, sorry, don't send any nominee here if we don't have an actual rubric around what are we vetting for? Some people say the qualification of what they want is enough. Some people say the experience is enough. If we had a uniform rubric, the Liberian people would not be wondering why someone gets confirmed, because the rubric will clearly show the person qualifies or not. That is the reason why in Liberia, in administrative posts, we are appointing technical people. How can the Minister of Health must be a doctor? Being the Minister of Health is not a technical position for a medical doctor. It's an administrative position for running the ministry day to day. Now, I'm not saying a medical doctor cannot have administrative skills. If you have a medical doctor with administrative skills, even better. But that's a rare combination usually, to have a technical medical doctor. So in my opinion, that in Liberia, where to be Minister of Health, you got to be a medical doctor. It shouldn't be. So the question we should really be asking, instead of saying we're praying to God by the grace of God and sitting my reject, we're not calling. I would have said it reject. I would not be surprised if she's confirmed, because it's going to take on whoever to muzzle the Senate and provide some real brown envelope, because there's no rubric. Everybody can say we were certified with a certificate from the maritime school that should go into, because there's no minimum rubric by which we should approve her or disapprove her.
Thank you, Leo. Thank you. Mr. Fagon, your thoughts, and then we got to do our closing comments and close the show.
Honestly, if any Liberian is not pissed off right now, I'll be amazed. I mean, really pissed off. If a Liberian citizen is sitting where they're sitting down now, if the chair come from the front, he even know post set, they're supposed to be vexed. Why? Look at our airport. You know how many years our airport has been without a head? You took a person who knew nothing, did 6 weeks course to the Philadelphia airport to repair the boss hair phone, what a DJ then can use, and they can use it on the plane too. Since then, you have not filled that position. This girl came to the Senate and lied. They caught her right-handed. She did not even know her own school address. Yes. And James, good day, you need to start playing the games. You need to cut that video for us tomorrow. She did not know her own school address. It's on the video. She could not even say her own school website when she was being grilled by Senator Jonathan Subway. Yes. But instead of giving a qualified person the job, because that Jefferson Koji girlfriend, last year, go back to the Sunday that I was put there. Thursday, the 9th of June 2022, you come by again, you keep the job open. Then if you look at the letter, if they put the letter back on the screen, please, you will see that he's saying she has now come with a document. Yeah, right there. If you look at the second to the last paragraph, in support of her renomination, Madam Collins will present documents and credentials previously unavailable to the Honorable Senate. What I want me now. Previously unavailable, meaning the poor did not have it at time. Why you send her there and she lied? Lying to the Senate under oath is perjury. It's criminal. It's a crime. Then you send her there and you admit that she did not have the document previously. So you kept the job for her. You punish the country. You kept the job again for other people. You punish the country. Look at Udubusi Wambodike. He lie on everything, abuse our legal system. Then come back and say he won't be citizen, then he be his citizen. Come back and say he won't plead law in Supreme Court. Look, man, I tell you, I rest like my slipper lost.
Yeah, so I only have like, one of the best questions that I enjoy when we have like candidates coming in for interview is what makes you a top candidate? That's one of the best questions I love, asking people. So because we want top candidates, we don't just want anybody. So the question is, that we should always ask her, and I hope the senators can ask her, how does her education, how does her experience, how does her critical thinking ability, how does that commensurate? When I say commensurate, how does that qualify or meet the job requirement or the duties of the job? That's what I'm asking here. And on that note,
she met all requirements, Dr. Francine. Thank you.
I even ask you how. I'm not going to harmony.com with you.
The Koji requirement.
I'm not going there with nobody. Me, I wear no red shoes.
Dr. Ray is asking the way she can do her own interview then when she get candidate.
What makes you a top candidate for this position here?
The people say we might not bring the other way, we might only stick to the Liberian way, but they say they want to change your country. But then they say, oh, you not know Liberia.
But I'm talking, how do you punish a whole country for one person?
Because we're doing it in Liberia way now. And I want to get so ready to oh, you not know the way things were in Liberia. You're educated with the way the things were in Liberia. So we're doing it in Liberia way.
See why when you went there, the other person said, oh, he's so brilliant, handsome, and tall. The other guy say, now I want to do it the Canadian way.
So let's try to make our closing comments. It's 5:56. We are doing good with our timing today. I will again start with Fadika, and then we go to Johnson, and then I will make my closing comments, and then Fagon will take us home as usual. So Fadika, your closing thoughts?
Yeah, my closing thought, it is disheartening. It is disheartening. Liberia is I made a comment one time on Facebook, and a lot of people were jumping down my throat. And this is my observation. For the last couple of years, I started to visit countries in the sub-region. I went to Niger, I went to Senegal. I spent a lot of time
I went to Bahoum.
I went to Senegal. I forgot myself. And my story, I will stick to it. I went to Senegal.
You can say Grand Bassa, you can say Grand Basso. You can know you're not from there.
So
okay,
Leo trying to make me lose my. But one thing I observed, and I will tie into this thing. So I was driving, especially it was in Ghana. This thought came to my mind. I went on a university campus, and what I saw in universities there is completely different from what you have in Liberia. Universities in other countries around the sub-region, you see a kid around 18 to 25. If you're 26 years old, you're probably getting your second master's. In most of the other countries, you go to Conakry, you see those little tiny little children look like real babies in university. In Liberia, it's very different. I know blame the war, blame other things, but it's very different. And it says a lot about our education system and why our kids, some of them is affecting them, because these people, mind you, these are adults. These are adults that should be making decisions and running things that are polluting that younger generation. And when I went on the campus, and I couldn't understand. So in Liberia, you find people that are already working in government, that have already making decisions, running the country, staying the affair of the country, going back to the university with some low children that just came from high school, and other it just open room for a lot of exploitation and other things, but we can talk that another day. And it's puzzling to see the government keep this position for one person for almost a year, going to 2 years, for her to go back to school, so in Liberia, we have people with 3, 4, 5 masters, but you know the problem? We cannot articulate what we learn. Because for somehow, some twisted logic, we believe that in credential more than getting the experience. So we have credential holder walking around Liberia. Some can even read a complete sentence. Some can even speak well. But we have a bunch of credential. Our education system have plummeted because There's no value attached to it. People go there, just imagine Jefferson Kochi graduated there, I know Magna Cum or Summa Cum Laude. What time does it? I'm not saying he's not a smart person, but in order to do that, you cannot have the
You
weight
did
and
not
the pressure.
include that.
Yeah. You cannot, you're not going to put me in a situation I can't handle.
I just happy you, my brother.
Yeah. So so you look at the kind of thing with all the pressure for being the city mayor of what the largest city in the country. You have to be a genius to really something. So people then go to get credential just to fit in for the job. I hear someone say, "Oh, he qualifies." So this is what happening. So this young lady, I don't have nothing against her, but the fact that there are other Liberians that apply themselves. Growing up, they say, don't be grown up, but they used to flock up for playing Mawa, playing Blade, playing with your friends. They say, apply yourself, go to school, go to college, do this thing. And when you are done, success at the end of the tunnel will show. But look what we have as success right now. The people that do not want to apply themselves, you just have to be the loudest talker. You have to be a little eloquent. You have to stay on the Palawa hall and speak the English. And they are coined a different thing. So we have a bunch of incompetent people in position right now that cannot articulate what they learn. And what happens when you have this running the kind of government? They can only give what they have, what they know. Or men cannot give you more than what he learned, what he knows. So mediocrity set in. And this is why we are performing dismally as compared to our neighbors in other countries. Go ahead.
You're muted, Dr. Francine.
I don't know who muted me, but go ahead, Mr. Johnson.
Yeah, so here's what I would say. Learning and memorizing are two different things.
Aha.
I thank God we got an educator on here who is a professor. I've come to realize that going to school in Liberia, elementary, junior high, and high school, I've come to accept that I mostly memorized, did not learn. I could draw you a Bunsen burner and a microscope and label all its parts. If I see one, I don't know how to operate it. But I could label the parts, draw it for you, make 100 in getting the parts correct. But the first time I had the chance to lay my eyes on one, I did not know where to start. In Liberia, those of you who remember when computer came in, we're learning MS-DOS by drawing a computer and pretending like we were hitting the keys and writing the MS-DOS formulas on the paper and pretend like the computer was before you on a sheet of paper and you memorize where you're supposed to hit. Those of you who remember when the whole computer education started coming in early. So what we have in Liberia is a serious challenge. Brilliant. I give it to Liberian students who apply themselves under those circumstances. You still have one textbook for every 27 students in the country. I didn't say that. This is the UN published report 2 years ago. There's a textbook, one textbook to every 27 students in the country. And most of these textbooks are not valuable or usable in any modern education setting. We went to LU, they still got 1979 Encyclopedia Britannia on the shelves. We're still reading books that say there are 9 planets in the solar system when we know now there are unlimited planets in the solar system. So we also have a country where very educated people have come out. If you remember, if you go to school in Liberia and do well, and God bless you, you come to America, you do even better. The reason you do better is because they're educating you for America. They're not educating you for Liberia. You're putting square pegs in round holes, like the English people can call it, because the things that Liberia need, anytime LU is putting out graduates, it's supposed to be an immediate boost in productivity within the economy if our education system was connected to the actual needs of our society. But when we live in a country where all the educated people in government, out of government, come together on the President's State of the Union address at the beginning of every year and clap, because he said he would change the country healthcare system with $500 million. He would change the education system with $500 million. He would transform roads with $500 million. He would transform schools with $500 million. Everybody clap. That is voodoo economics. The numbers makes no sense. That's what corruption one side. If even the numbers were properly distributed, $500 million is the cost of one good hospital. The cost of properly building, equipping one proper hospital, I can say that because the university I work for, with 36,000 students, is $787 million budget for 36,000 students. And they're only catering to their education. They're not catering to their health, to their healthcare, to building roads, to all the other infrastructure things we have to do. So the real honesty we need to start asking ourselves Is there a conspiracy around keeping our people dumbfounded to not understand the processes so that they don't get angry when they hear what is really going on? See the people who line up the corridors, and to our international partners as well. They are part of the problem. Because for you to come as the IMF and convince us that the proper agenda for development and prosperity that were presented, that a $700 million budget annually can take 1 million people out of poverty in the Republic of Liberia. For you to convince us that we must change the constitution to amend the election law so that campaigning can be a rainy season because the road bad. So that means you're planning to never fix the road. That what we will be forever. You can never fix the road because it's actually bad. It is a serious problem. So those of the educated people, especially who can come on Facebook or talking here or whatever, we need to start asking the hard question. Until anybody can tell me and show me how you can take the Liberian government at least to $1 billion before you start to have a conversation, because where Liberia is at is $700 million budget annually. Even if it was properly distributed and budgeted, cannot take us an inch. That $100 US per citizen the whole year, your healthcare, your food, your school, everything, each will get $100 US. Thank you. You are muted.
I don't know who keeps muting me. Whoever it is, James Goodday, don't play that trick on me. Okay. I just wrote a few points that I'm going to make very quickly. It was a great conversation, awesome as usual. I like having the panelists come here and just intellectualize and also give some practical observations and recommendations about what is happening in our country. Thank you, James and Nelson, for producing today. Thank you, Liberians, for being here. This is your show. This is where we come to just kind of talk about Liberia issues, and you can take what we tell you, marinate it, filter it, and be ready to make informed decisions. There were several observations here that I made. I'm just going to tell you, number one, read your press statements. All of you guys in government that are making press statements, please read it, because we have Fagon here who will definitely point out, and many of the panelists and many others who will point out your discrepancies in your press statement. And it looks very bad for our country and institution that is supposed to be giving top press conferences out, top releases to be presenting press conferences that have these discrepancies. Utilize experts in all that we do. We are asking you to invite experts in this endeavor of trying to do an autopsy or trying to do an investigation as to the cause of death of Shalom Musu. May her soul rest in peace. We ask you to tolerate diversity, because there's too much yes sir business here can contribute to making plenty of mistakes and do some things that is just not in the interest of Liberian people. Like, for example, one person say, "Oh, I know who killed somebody." Instead of us doing our due diligence by asking questions like that, I can say, "Hey, my man, come here." The people say something. We do it. We just calling press conferences, left, right, press conference, press conference. This person called press conference, right? I don't understand this whole matter of.
And again, lawyer all involved.
Yes, it's like it's all of this public grandstand. It's not good. Some lessons learned for the CDC, the Congress for Democratic Change. That's exactly what I'm talking about. I'm not talking about coalition. Keep your promises and make sure that your promises are in the best interests of Liberian people. Be trustworthy. If you have not learned anything yet, maybe it's too late. Be trustworthy, because the whole issue where the coalition is falling apart right now stems from trust. I think there's also lessons should be learned for Bonnie, Johnson, and Tyler in this whole thing. The lesson is, don't go for greed or personal gratification, like, oh, how much job is going to my brother causing, relative, friends, or whoever, or how much affiliation I have with the person in power, or my proximity, my closeness. Go for, again, the most competent and capable person that can do the job, or the most competent or capable person that can speak for Liberia. Lastly, and don't take money. Don't take the personal money, which I know the guys are talking about the money, the might be on the table. The thing I learned about Margot Fagon said, and Leo Johnson, I think Hussein said this, people will take your money these days, but they can do differently, okay? That is something that we learned. I want you to look forward to October 10th, register to vote, and make the best decision for Liberia. Let's move our country forward. Let's put our country at least on a path to getting in line with the other countries in the region. Announcement on Friday, we'll have Viability. He's running for a representative position in Nima County, District 7, I believe. There was a very spirited article, insightful article that was written about him by Fasiki Connet. I believe it was in the Daily Observer. And Fasiki laid out several interesting things about how if you especially come from a certain ethnic group, like a Mandingo person, there are some limitations that were afforded to you in our country. And we're going to be talking about that. We're going to be talking about the old days when you go back to your village and eat rice and your parents would just welcome you, and learn a little bit more about Viability as opposed to what we see today. There'll be very limited conversation about the CPP. Yes, we can talk about it, but we're going to be talking about mostly his contribution to the county of Nimba. I want to ask you guys, do you have any announcements before we say good night to the people of Liberia?
Kotomali.
Good night, everybody. Liberians have a very,
I'll
very...
close you.
Okay, close.
But you said it instead of closing.
Announcement, buddy. Oh, they can pass one level or make it day by the announcement and prep the announcement. Yeah, but anyways.
Go ahead, please close.
Yeah,
take us
home.
If
I go take out shit. They 6 o'clock to me to the town, sir.
It's 11.
Already 6:11. So
yeah, because I'm picking and run for in the room anytime. That can't join. But anyways, I was saying in my closing, something happened today. We may not have touched on it. Elisha Howard, the special assistant, or not special assistant, the assistant to the Minister of Finance, went on a university campus today, and in my opinion, was heckled out of the campus. Well, like I said, there are 100 people with laptop, but about 5 million people who got ears, eyes, and hearts. They also have brains. So they took to social media, and they're sympathizing with Aloysius Howard.
Residents here in this.
Thank you very much. Put a video, because the video we saw, we didn't see them beating him or busting his car or doing anything. James now put a video that he take it off again. I think James is a hidden sedition here. We need to watch him. Yeah, we need to watch him. He put a video that he take it from there quick. So I'm trying to say that it doesn't mean he's a small boy, but because of his size, Fadiga, I refer to him as Little Sisulu. Walter Sisulu went to the U.S. Embassy with his friends. It was a peaceful demonstration. Upon the orders of Aloysius Howard bosses, he was brutally beaten, bleeding from almost every part of his head and body. Sisulu was rushed to the hospital. It turned out the people who carried out this brutal act were only brought to justice upon the intervention of the international community. They were all pro-government operatives and operatives of Aloysius Howard's bosses. When Aloysius Howard chose to go on the university campus, he should have reminded himself that the spirit of Walt Tapia and others were on that campus. That the intellectual prowess of Dr. Sawyer, Tipote Bacchus Matthews, H.P.M. Famule, Alaric Tukpa, and others were still visible on the campus. So to allow his boss or his bosses to beat on university students who did nothing wrong, and to then go on the campus, and I want people to hear me right, I am not saying he was wrong for walking on the campus, but to spot his vehicle and walk majestically, proud of what they did to little Walter Sisulu and others, was a provocation to the students. Because up to now, they have got yet to have justice from his government. Therefore, if he takes it personal, it's up to him. But until the CDC government can give Walter Sisulu justice and all other university students justice, I believe that whoever the official is, whether Joel or whoever, that goes on their territory, you will meet the wrath simply because it would constitute an act of provocation. Until your government can take the necessary course of action to give the university students justice, I will advise all government officials, your appearance on the campus is provocation and a reminder of justice delayed and justice denied. Therefore, what happened today may not have gone down well with people. In my opinion, the provocation to the students was unwarranted because they have not gotten justice. The reaction, until we can see otherwise, the video we saw, he was forced back into his vehicle drove off. Unless they have other footages. But be it as it may, I'm not encouraging violence, but I'm telling the government, if you continue to delay and deny them justice, your officials going on the campus is provocation. And the reaction will not be considered by people like us. We'll look at your provocation at not giving them justice. I respectfully submit.
Dr. Richardson, because we're all on this show, I would just like to make a quick statement to that I disagree with Minister Fagon on this, period. That anyone going to the University of Liberia campus, whether a government official.
I did not say anyone.
No, I'm saying government official, including government officials as well, is a provocation. I think the students, if students are aggrieved, we can be saying one thing and at the same time being the same people also encouraging. I think what was done today to Aloysius Howard is wrong. Students can demonstrate, students can protest, but when it crosses the line to violence, where car windshields are broken, people are injured, it is absolutely wrong. Violence of any form. It is wrong, and I think the government, yes, should give students justice. We saw the brutalization of Sisulu and other students that have happened. But to equate that to say the University of Liberia campus, any government officials that go there is a provocation, no. Some of them, it is their job responsibility to go to LU. We should chastise the government. We should, and students have the right to be angry against the government for denying them justice. But I don't think under any circumstances, any one of us should give our young people any iota that violence is going to resolve or give them justice. Violence will only beget more violence. So I want to disagree
I
and
think,
say,
I think that,
but I think
Leo, what you are saying
please
is,
let me finish.
You
Let
are
me
taking my
finish.
statement
Yeah, just
completely
let
out
me
of
finish.
context.
Yeah, just
And I stand by
so
what
please
I
just let
said.
me finish. I think what
The
happened to
government
Aloysius Howard today.
operatives brutalized a student.
So
to go on the campus and
yeah.
flex your muscle
Yeah.
is provocation. I
So-
stand by what I say.
So thank
Until
you.
you give them justice,
So
don't go marching in front of them.
So
You saw
thank
what
you,
was
Minister.
Sisulu?
So thank you, Minister Fagon. The video that I saw today, and if I missed something, please let me know. I did not see Aloysius Howard flexing muscles on the campus of University of. Again, I may be wrong, but the video that I saw, based on what we're seeing on the video that I followed from Women's TV, there was no flexing of muscle. And I'm keep saying, encouraging any form of violence in our society, given where we've come from, given everything we've seen. I think,
and that's why I'm not encouraging.
Let me say one thing too. Let me say one thing before we close.
Because the final thing I would say, Dr. Francine, the final thing that I will actually say is let's join in solidarity with University of Liberian students to call for justice for them. But telling them,
will do that.
Let me just
No, but Eugene, I kind of agree with Eugene. Leo, what you fail to realize is what you fail to realize is the frustration of the student. Whenever there is a breakdown of law and order, you don't see mob justice in the US. You know why? Because when there is a crime is committed, there is a proper authority to.
So are you saying it's justified in this case?
It is. Sometimes hold on.
Come on, guys.
That means you are telling the government thank you for beating Sisulu.
No, I'm not telling the government thank you.
So why have the government not taken action?
Mob justice on the University of Liberia campus led to women being raped on that campus. Led to no. Let me finish. Fagon, you're not cutting me off.
Let me talk to you now.
So
disobedient.
Okay, guys,
you are 3 years old.
That was not said, but I don't have to be 5 years old. We can read, we can see the account.
Okay, Justin.
That's the only language people understand. Yeah, you see, sometimes, Leo, what you fail to realize is you only look here, it's just like people saying we need to protect the peace. oh yeah, we gotta protect the people. Other opposition won't go in the street. Oh no, they're coming point down the town.
Violence.
Hold on now. Hold on.
I said provocation. You don't want preaching violence here.
Yeah, you see,
there is absolute violence.
There is a reason why these things happen.
Anyway, let's listen to Fadiga.
If people have been marginalized, they're not getting redress for the things. And people, look, the guy at the embassy, he was brutalized. How many times this have not happened? The thing here is, the reason why you see our children resolving into violence is because their concerns are not being heard. It's like the government saying, let us protect this peace. How do you protect the peace when you keep violating the people's right? How can you protect the peace when they have a lot of unsolved murder? How will you protect the peace when people cannot even afford their basic needs? So you only looking at the action, but what precipitated the action, you're not going after it. Because something happened. Something happened. The reason these things don't happen in the US, there's a good reason why. These things don't happen in other countries, there's a good reason why.
It happens in the US.
Yeah. So by you saying, oh, we shouldn't encourage violence, it's easier said than done. We saw this happen with Serena Sifa. You know who Serena Sifa is? He's my good friend, but Serena Sifa did a lot of shady things in the country there, for which that guy and him listed on so many things. They boo him and kick him out of the country.
Which
it has been a trend.
There's no violence. There's no violence. That's fair.
There was violence.
What was the violence? Nobody was hurt. Nobody was harmed. No,
but there was a.
But Leo, what you saw is not what we saw in the video. The video saw that guy
towards Serena Sifa as well.
Did you see all of the video circulating on Facebook then? Because I have another video.
Well, he didn't have to be violent. The thing here is, the people do not want people that marginalize them, people that abuse their outside to come on the campus. It's their territory.
People to resort to violence. That's all I'm telling you.
And then the problem. Patronize people to be violent against the students. The students have the right to defend themselves against any form of violence. But then when you go to provoke them, then they will react.
So government officials are not allowed to go to.
Government official is not allowed. What I'm telling you, when you can't give them justice, you do not go there to provoke them.
Now, Elisha, how the Minister of Justice?
Guys,
Guys,
I want to thank you so much for being here today. This was an awesome show. I also want to say that the views expressed by the panelists are their views and not the views collectively of Spoon Network. We all here share different opinions and different views, but this is what make us Spoon.
At least we're also up to 622 today. We did good.
Now your intention, right? Okay, I'm gonna go.
Capable of taking another one.
I tell you, you know how to hustle in time. All right. And I will reclaim my time again. Thank you so much. Good day, and Nelson. And you guys, thank you so much for the conversation. We'll talk to you guys tomorrow. Liberians, thank you. And it's good always having you here. Good night. I circle back to you, Nelson, and good day. Bye-bye.
Well, folks, we want to say thanks a lot to all of you out there for being a part of this edition of the program Spoon Talk. Thanks for sharing your thoughts, your contributions via the call lines. Well, join us tomorrow for another fascinating edition of the program Spoon Talk. Until that time, I'm Nelson Colette, James Goodday Flomo here. Have for yourselves a good night. Bye-bye.
Spoon will tell you what is happening in more.